Friday, everybody. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Mastermind Academy. My bad. Hold on. My foot got stuck on my little balance board. I was trying to move it a little bit. My bad. See, I'm just trying to look fake tall on camera. There we go. On my little balance board. What is up? Oh, the chat box is being weird. Let me see. Which one's the right one? Let's delete this one. This was not working yesterday. But okay, there we go. Let's acting a little bit weird. What's up? What's up, Sully? It's good to see you in here. What's up, Nasty? How are you doing? Cattle Co, how are you doing? I forgot how you say it. Was it Laylee? I'm sorry, I forgot already, but I'm gonna remember. Tell me again. What's up, L4? It's good to see you. My bad. Lee, what's up, man? How you doing? Been a while. How you doing out there? Laylar. Okay. I'm gonna remember that. Laylar. I got that. I'm committing it to my brain right now. Committing it to my brain. How you doing? It's good to see you. I'm sorry about that. What's up, Chisk? I'll try that too. What's up? How you doing today? Twitch should be kind today, Dorian. That would be great. If not, I have set it up so that I can stream to YouTube if we need to, if all else fails. But I'll let everyone know about that as well. What's up, Aki? How you doing? Let's see. Lucas, how are you doing today? Abdullah, welcome. So we made it to Friday. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. The 6 p.m. Time threw me all the way off. I was sitting here doing some other work, and then I was actually talking to I was on a call with my interns, and we were solving some problems, and then I was like, wait, I think I have to go stream in like 11 minutes or something. So I had to hop off really fast, but I'm here. It's all good now. But cool. I appreciate it. Thanks everyone for deciding to spend your Fridays with me. I know Friday evening's not an ideal time to be spending learning, but we're just trying to make it work. We're trying to make sure we have time for all of the things. So this is the time that we have. So it's good to see you. But we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time. Today is probably gonna be the most packed day out of all of them. So we are gonna get moving pretty quick. But welcome everybody who's new to the channel, people who are here for the first time to learn all about Horizons, a journey into cloud computing with AWS. We do run some other boot camps here. So we've been around all week. We had some issues yesterday. Twitch didn't like us, didn't want us to be great. So it was problematic, but it's all good. But Lucas, I'm glad you're loving Decoded. Got some good stuff coming you all's way with that. 100%. I was all the way thrown off. So I'll make sure to commit to memory. It's on my calendar. It popped up, but I need to change my notification to pop up much earlier than 10 minutes before, just to make sure that I'm on it. But we are here. We are ready. You should have your stuff in Google Classroom. I had to rush to change the stuff in Google Classroom because my brain still set it to release at 7, but I made sure to release the slides at 6 if you're already in there. But yeah, what's up, Nitro Sage? Donuts are in fact life. They're the best. You gotta eat some donuts. I'm trying not to eat donuts right now because your boy's back in the gym trying to, last year I was on the road to the Rock, and then we had, we were on lockdown, and then I fell off a little bit, but I'm back on it. Because it's the new year. I live that 4:30 life. I wake up at 4:30 to get to the gym by 5, and sooner or later, if I stop eating donuts, which is very difficult to do, I will look like the Rock. I'm hoping. But yeah, so let's hop straight into things, because I'm going to do a really quick recap, because I think a lot of you are here, who are here have been here all week. So this is going to be a very quick introduction. We're not going to spend as much time as we've been spending, and then we're going to hop into it. We have 3 entire slide decks for today because there's a number of things. We're actually going to move the billing portion of this to the 3rd week. And tonight we're going to do the introduction to the stream. We're gonna do a syllabus overview real fast, like super duper quick. Then we're gonna hop into an introduction to AWS. You can get your account set up if you don't already have one. We'll walk through that, get you in there, get you oriented around what's going on. Then we will talk about AWS's global infrastructure and what that looks like, what that means. We will then dive into the shared responsibility model. Then we will dive into an introduction to IAM, identity and access management, really important thing. And then we will finish it off with getting set up with the AWS CLI. So a lot. So we'll definitely get there. Calls from Costa Rica is again always good to have you. I appreciate it. Also, if you are new to the channel, or if you just want to share where you're at, definitely shout out where you're tuning in from. Always love to see it. I would love to say hi. all that stuff. Let's see. Building a modest home gym due to lockdown. I want to, but really all I need, like, I don't really care about lifting anymore. To be 100% honest with you all. I'm into the, I definitely am starting to love the cardio life more. I started cycling at the beginning of quarantine and I loved it. It's way too cold right now. I'm not boss enough to be out here in the freezing cold. I would love to be cycling right now, but and I also shouldn't buy a Peloton because I have a baby on the way and running my own business, and you know that's probably not the smartest move. And I think it takes like months right now. So I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. I might try to find a rower for the house, but I can't. The gyms are still open, and I have one right down the street, so that is where I've been going. What's up, Issa boy? How are you doing tonight? Yeah. Virtual assistant, thank you so much for the bits, for the cheers. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, if you want to stream with me, go ahead and do it. I'm with it. Let's see. 1080p and 4K was too high for me. So you should be able to. So I looked into this, and I may drop it because some other people have told me they were having problems with the 1080p stream too. I recorded 4K, and it down scales to 1080p. But I was told you could also, like, you can downscale yours from your computer. And I was assuming people were gonna do that so that it would work. But I'm recording on 4K, so it looks good on YouTube. But yeah, okay, good, excellent. Be a badass workout no matter what. Hey man, I do my best. Like I said, I've been getting up at 4:30, and it's been working. But working out is never a problem for me. It's eating's the problem. I'll work out. I have no problem working out at all. But dope, dedicated student. What's up, VA? How are you doing? You're ready. All right, we are gonna get into it. Baltimore. You know, wait, Lee, are you back in Baltimore? I know you. I don't remember where you were out. Where you went to, but are you back in Baltimore? It's pretty dope. If you are, you know, you gotta hit us up. We're all chilling. We all the black techies. We not all the black techies, but we went out to what's that place called? The Outer Banks. For New Year's in the Outer Banks. We got a house. So yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's get you introduced. Let's get everybody introduced. Let's get going, because there's a lot, and I want to get us out of here. I really want to get us out of here in the 3 hours, the 3 hour time span that we have. So we'll take some breaks. We'll chill. It's all good. Also, one thing we are going to do is tomorrow. We had an issue last night in Decoded. We were going over some Git fundamentals. Some of the things that you're about to learn here, that you're about to see, is that we are actually going to be committing to GitHub for some projects and some things that we're going to be doing. And a lot of people don't know how to use GitHub. It's definitely, like, Git is a skill they need to learn. So we are going to do an introduction to Git. We're not going to do it here in this class. I'm going to do it tomorrow during office hours. I'm going to tell you about office hours. You don't have to come, but then I'll chop it up. That own section, I'll cut it up, and then I will put it in the Google Classroom for anyone who needs to watch it, needs it as a reference. But I wouldn't sweat it either way. So let's hop into Horizons. Let's hop into classwork. Let's hop into the main slides. We're going to start with the main slides. I'll share this link. It should be available to everyone. This is the slide deck that we are going to start with, and then we will move on to the 2 other slide decks. Opposite problem, I don't eat enough and don't work out either. I mean, hey, I'm good. Here, the problem isn't my willpower at all. If the food is ready and available, I will eat it. I can stick to a diet if the food is available. Like, the good options are, I've already prepared, I've already pre-done everything. The problem is, I told you all before, your boy is just a little bit lazy, and I don't enjoy cooking, to be honest. I don't really enjoy it. I'm okay at it, and so if I don't really feel like preparing everything, then I will go get something terrible, because I don't make good choices in that instance. But I don't know. I don't have a problem if the food's there. Like, I'll eat it and I'll eat well. But you know, link requests for access. Hold on. Seems like some people were in here. That's interesting. Let me change it to anyone. All right, try refreshing the page, and maybe it'll let you in now. And let's make sure you all are in before we get started, and then we are going to go straight through this. 500 to 8,000 calories a day, kcals a day, and I'm unable to work out. I mean, man, so if I'm really busy, it's really easy for me to not eat. But if I'm like, that's another reason I don't like working in the house. Like, I like being in the office because it's much harder to just go get food. Didn't used to be the case. I used to work somewhere where there were snacks everywhere, but that's not the case anymore. I'm purposely not going to be that company for myself. I'm not going to get a bunch of snacks that are lying around so that I can make some healthier decisions. But yeah, I mean, it's tough, but we're going to be, I'm sticking to it. I was killing it before we got on lockdown. I was killing it. I don't know, man, I was on it. I had started in late August of 2019. I started working out pretty hard because I got on the scale and I was like, oh no, this is unacceptable. Like, things have to change today. And me and some friends were going to start doing a challenge, and they were all like, yeah, we'll start like at the start of the new month. I was like, no, I'm starting tomorrow. And I was doing well. I had lost like 25 pounds, like 25 or close to 30 pounds at the time. And then I didn't gain all of it back, but I think I gained like 13 or 14 of it back. And so, just, I'm back on it now. So we'll see. All right. So here we go. We're going to hop into it really quick. So I'm sorry for anyone who this is your first day here, your first time here. We're going to go through the introduction pretty quickly. After we go through the introduction, we're gonna get right into the AWS stuff because this class is jam-packed because it's only once a week. All of the other classes are 2 days a week, so it makes it a little bit easier. Today is the only day that's gonna feel this fast and this fast-paced, but it's more informational day. Like, you won't need to get crazy set up. You won't need to do anything crazy today. It's more conceptual today than anything, so don't sweat it. So here we go. Welcome to, let's put on the, put on our effects. Once again, we paid for it, so we might as well use it. Welcome to Horizons, a journey into cloud computing with AWS. Oh no, I didn't even press the button. Let's do it again. And let's get a little, let's get even more reverb in there, and let's lower the echo. Oh, the button's not working. Well, they don't want us to be great. This is the week my tech has forsaken me. That's okay, Man, it's really not working. Okay. Well, I have a special FX button on my Go XLR and it is not working at this time. So we cannot do anything cool. But this is Horizons. Welcome. This is day 1 of 8. You are watching what's called Mastermind Academy. This has been going on for a little over a year. Oh, no. We started in August of, the first boot camp we ran was in August of 2019. Or August of 2019 is the first time we ran any boot camps. And the goal of this is to really be an engineer's one-stop shop for training and job opportunities. Notice job opportunities is in there. There are job opportunities coming to the channel very shortly, partnering with companies to make sure you all have access to roles and that you have, you are exposed to the things that are out there, so we can get you all, into these companies. But all this is a platform designed to deliver live interactive training skills to anyone, no matter where they are, at no cost. The goal is for there to be no required cost to the learner. Tech has the power to change the world, and I want to make sure the mission is to make sure that we're all a part of that and being empowered to be able to wield technology, and that's the goal. Tech has been amazing for me in my life. It's allowed me to live a life that I'm not sure I would have ever believed that I was going to be living. And I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to do the same, as well as to be in control of what this stuff can do. Tech, like I said, tech is powerful. I want to make sure we're all able to contribute to the world, to this new digital age, as we kind of move along as people. But I've been asked numerous times. This is the first time we're doing this. I've been asked numerous times. People are always asking me, look, I'd love to support. So there are ways to support now. You can absolutely go to academy.mastermind.io and /contribute, and you can contribute whatever you like. This is a pay what you want, do. This is a love offering out of your heart. You do not have to do it. You are not required to do anything. You get everything in the course for free. It'll always be free to you, no matter what, and it costs you nothing. So don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. But that is a way that you can contribute. If you do contribute, you will get some sweet stickers. if you contribute $15 or over, and you will get some stickers and socks if you contribute $30 and over. But again, little fun incentivization for that. But again, no required cost. You also don't have to do these amounts if you want to do $1 or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But if you ever find that throughout the course, you know, you found something valuable and you want to contribute, there is a way to do that. You can also contribute through Twitch itself. You can become a subscriber of the channel. They start at $5 a month. If you have Amazon Prime, it is completely free for you to you get one free sub per month, and you can deliver that to this channel if you feel like we are deserving of it. That'd be great. I would appreciate it. But again, not a big deal. You can consider it. You can click the link. This is the only time I will throw this in your face, but I just wanted to make you all aware there is a way to contribute. All right, but it's important to make sure. I'm going to show you guys the socks too. I'm waiting for the very first. The socks haven't come in yet. It's the only thing that hasn't come in yet. And I was going to show you the stickers and the socks at the exact same time, but I will show it to you. And yes, there is going to be a merch store for shirts and stuff, because I do have shirts that I get for myself. Like I try to wear Mastermind stuff as much as I can, because although Mastermind Academy is it's on Twitch, it's free. I am a full-time entrepreneur, as you can see in the first line of this. Which I'll explain in a second, but I run a company called Mastermind, which is more than just the academy, but the academy is what holds my heart. This is what I love the most, and I love that the rest of the things that I'm doing allow me to do this. But did I just hear you right? What's up, Duke Nukem? It is good to see you. How are you doing? Did you say if you have Amazon Prime, I get one free sub per month? Yes, because Amazon is Twitch is owned by Amazon, and if you connect your Amazon Prime, if you pay for Amazon Prime, and you connect your account to your Amazon account and Twitch account, it will give you a free thing, free sub every month there. So PD Gamer, thank you so much for the gifting sub. Thank you so much for paying it forward. I do appreciate it. Second billing cycle, you gotta give PD Gamer a thank you. Who else got one? Does it tell me? It doesn't, but thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Oh, but yeah, yep, you can link them up. I can try to get you all a link for that if you ever want to do that, to link up your accounts. But I am a former technical lead and DevOps engineer. So I'm a DevOps engineer by trade. DevOps engineering, we are running a class on DevOps engineering, but it's automation infrastructure, helping developers develop software as fast as they can, developing pipelines, getting feedback loops. But I did that. I've been an infrastructure person for a long time. Infrastructure is my passion. That's why I'm very excited about the cloud courses, because this is where my heart lies more so than the programming courses. I'm sorry, everyone in Decoded. I do like code, but I prefer infrastructure, to be honest. And they're one and the same nowadays. Like I said, I've been a team lead. I've been a technical lead, technical architect. I've led application teams for a couple of years. I've done a lot of different stuff in the tech industry. I've worked at a bunch of different places. I will for sure give you all a rundown of that. Check my donos real quick. First off, thank you for any donations. I will check it because you asked me to. Let's see. Let me get logged in here. I need to see if I can connect that to here so that I can give people a shout out, because I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate any type of love that is given to me at any given time. It all goes back to making sure that we can run classes, courses for people. And I genuinely appreciate. I don't know. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I appreciate that. Everyone will be getting their form for everyone from this week. We'll be sending out the forms weekly for the socks and everything. So I look forward to putting something special in your sock and sticker package. I appreciate that. It genuinely means a lot to me that I have supporters, and you've been a supporter for a very long time. And I honestly don't know how to properly thank you. This is never going to not be weird for me to have to thank people for your generosity, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much, really. And I also need to figure out a way so I don't miss these things, because I'm sorry I almost missed that. But so let me try to get back through it. I'm trying not to get emotional here. I am a 90s baby. I was born in 1990, and that is just to tell you a little bit more about me. This Pokemon on the wall over to my left, if you're wondering, hey, why does this guy right here, he seems like a grown up to me, why does he have Pokemon behind him? I mean, are we ever really grown-ups? Are we ever really adults? I have no idea. But I do love Pokemon. I love stuff from the 90s. I'm a 90s baby, and you will see that come through in the things that I say and the memes and all the other stuff. So yeah, I love cars and motorsports. Really do love cars and motorsports. I give you all the same spiel I give everyone else about the part of the reason why I'm now an entrepreneur. And I hate saying an entrepreneur. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really an entrepreneur. The part of the reason why I'm running my own business, let's go with that instead, is because one day I want to be able to run my own little race team. I would love to have I've already got the truck and the trailer. I mean, well, I don't have the trailer. I need the trailer. I already have a car I can use for the track right now, but I really want to get pretty big into motorsports, not professionally, but just for my own enjoyment. I really, I'm fascinated by machines and the way that they work. I love the sensations of going fast around the track, being able to control something like that at its limits. But yeah, I'm big into cars. Right now I have a Ford Focus RS. I don't intend. Yeah, I have a Ford Focus RS. I love it. It's a great car. I have my truck, my tow vehicle of choice is going to be an F-350. Pretty dope. I love it. I'm becoming a truck person. So I'm almost there. The trailer will come soon, relatively soon, and then hopefully I can get some time attacks in next season. I do have a baby on the way. My first child is on the way, coming in March. So we'll see if that hampers all of my plans. But I'll never stop dreaming. I'll never ever stop dreaming. So love cars and motorsports. I have a keyboard addiction, but I'm an absolute garbage typist. You will see how bad I am at typing. I'm better than I was, and I'm working on it. I built a couple keyboards. The one that I'm on right now is a custom build. This is a KBD Fans Tofu. It's aluminum, 60% board with a I looked it up yesterday and I already forgot how to say it, but I've got a special layout. It's like some kind of Japanese layout. That's like the HHKB layout, but the modifier is right here, but it actually has Windows keys. And I love it. I have another one on there. Double shot PBD caps. Yes, they are. These are the JTK Arctic keycaps. I got all the special ones and everything like that. I have another build incoming. I have an all purple build incoming because I do work out of here and I work out of my office. I have an office, and gotta have one of the reasons why I've been getting worse at typing is because I type on two different keyboards with two different layouts, and it's super problematic for me. So I think I'll get much better once I get two keyboards of the same thing. But yeah, Sally, I'll show. I can maybe at the end of this I'll pull up the order, because it'll probably be a couple weeks. I'll pull up the order to show you what the pieces that I got. But yeah, I think it should be pretty cool. Just ordered my first GMK set. Yes. So first off, my first GMK set as well. And I was floored by how much those GMK keycaps were. They were like 160 or something. That hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. I also ordered some. I'm real lazy. I already told you that I'm pretty lazy. I've always wanted to lube my switches, but I was always too lazy to do it. So I just ordered some pre-lubed Novelkeys creams. I'm also not a fan of Linear, but I've heard too many great videos and reviews about them. So we're gonna try out the Novelkeys creams. That's what switches I'm throwing on there. Do you accept fan mail? I never really thought about it. But yes, I mean, you can send it if you go to mastermind.io. Yeah, if you just go to mastermind.io, my business address is on there. You can send it there if you'd like. I would appreciate it. I'd love to hear from you. That would be amazing. Yeah, lube your switches. I know. It's a whole road. Cookies. See, you all know the way to my heart. You really know the way to my heart. I appreciate that. 25 for mine. Got some bonus caps, split keyboard stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's worth it though. You type on keyboards. I type on my keyboard all day, so it is worth it for me. All right, so the crying emoji is my favorite emoji. Pancakes over waffles. That is something that if you're new here, we don't argue with here. It's the truth. I said it. It's the only. I will tell you, everything we're talking about is open to discussion at any given time. This is the one thing that's not open to discussion. Pancakes are better than waffles. The only statement about this I will take is that French toast is better than them both, and they are. That's true. I agree with you. I definitely agree that French toast is better than both of these, but pancakes are in fact better than waffles. This is not to say that I don't like waffles, because I had people attack me the first time saying you're a waffle hater and all that stuff. No, come on, man. You know, you don't get, you guys can't see my stomach, but you don't get husky like this without eating your fair share of Eggos. So, you know, I'm cool with waffles. I'll do waffles. I'm not a waffle hater, but pancakes are better. If I can have a pancake, I'll take a pancake. And I was once in the top 50 on the East Coast in the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game league. And, you know, it was only for like a week. And then I got bust real bad. I got whooped up the next week. I went to another tournament. It was an invite only tournament because you had to be, I think, top 60 to come. And I got destroyed all day. I don't think I won a single one, and it hurt my heart. And I think I stopped playing pretty soon after that, to be honest. I think I was in like middle school, but yeah, you know, that was me. I just, you know, we do a lot here. We do tech, we do cars, you know, we do sport. I play sports. I do all the stuff, Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, just, you gotta diversify your portfolio. That's it. So, you know, I love to tell people that, because people are like, you play Yu-Gi-Oh? Yes, I did. Well, I was proud of it. I would have played Magic the Gathering too, but my dad would not buy me all the cards that I wanted. You know, and I understand it now, but I was like, Dad, like, well, come on, man, just buy me the cards, please. Like, he's like, boy, get out of my face. I'm like, hey, I get it now. Pretty expensive. And I actively have not gotten into Magic the Gathering as an adult, because when you start to have your own money to pay for things, you start to make bad decisions. And so, you know, I can only have one expensive ice, and right now that's cars. That's something I can't just go buy every day, so I'll keep it at that. And well, cars and keyboards, but luckily I think my keyboards can be write-offs. I hope they can be write-offs. Absolutely, hotcakes all the way. Let's see, and that's it. That's all we got there. And this is today's agenda, and we are going to start moving right now. We're going to talk about expectations and requirements. We're going to run through that. Syllabus overview, we're going to run through that. Cloud intro, this is where we'll start taking our time. We'll get you introduced to the cloud. We'll get you introduced to AWS. After that, we'll go into AWS IAM, one of AWS's most important services. We'll take a look at all the different things they have to get comfortable, get an account set up. And we will get the AWS CLI installed so that we can start to interact with AWS programmatically. This is not just a course on teaching you about AWS services. It is also it's helping to put you on the path to be a cloud engineer. This stuff is still useful, even if that's not a goal of yours. If you're just trying to get, you know, up to speed with AWS, we will still be doing exactly that, but it'll take it a little bit further. We're going to learn how to interact with AWS programmatically, as well as through the console, and kind of understanding what goes on there. What's my favorite OG Pokemon? So this is always a good question, and it changes every so often how I feel about it. My favorite OG Pokemon is by far Bulbasaur. Like, out of all 151, you know, you can make it 150 if you want, you know, if you want to be a purist. But out of all the original 151, Bulbasaur has always been my favorite, and I think it's because he's been a bit of an underdog. And people are always hating on him, and he's kind of a little froggy badass, a little bit, like he got a little attitude, like Squirtle does as well. But I'm a huge Bulbasaur fan. I'm also a huge Ninetales fan. I don't know why I like Ninetales so much. Pretty big fan of Snorlax. I'm also a big fan of all three original legendary birds, and Arcanine. Those are kind of my some highlight Pokemon. But yeah, you know, it's all good. It's all, you know, Pokemon was my life, man. Pokemon, whoo, and I still play Pokemon. Like, when the games come out, I don't know anything about all the new Pokemon and stuff, but the games and stuff are so fun, you know. Like, that's probably gonna be the only game I can play, like, especially when the kid comes, like, that'll be the only game I indulge in, because I can't just sit down at the computer and just play forever. But yeah, so I do like that next generation, like Cyndaquil and all them. I like them too. I didn't hate on them. I played those games and stuff as well. I played every generation of game. Like, they're always going to be great to me. But yeah, Pikachu's overrated. I do like Raichu. Pikachu is definitely overrated. But yep. I'm old enough where I only recognize the OG 151. That's why I own this poster is only 151, because they're the most important. Definitely the most important. All right, I'm glad to know I have so many other Pokemon lovers in here. It warms my heart, makes me feel good to be in good company. All right, expectations and requirements very quickly. What should you expect out of this course? This is not the right slide, so I will change this. But here's what you should gain out of this course. I will change this so that you do have it, especially for anyone who is going to be running through this a little bit later. What you should gain out of this is a strong understanding of what cloud computing is, how it works, and a very strong understanding of Amazon Web Services, how it operates, and its services. That is the whole goal of this class, is to understand specifically how the cloud works, specifically how Amazon Web Services works, and have a good understanding of its catalog of services and what they actually do. That can be very confusing. We're going to break down all that stuff, and that is what we're going to spend time doing. The secondary thing, they are secondary to the main focuses of the course, but they're equally as important. But I want you to have an understanding of how to approach learning new concepts and technologies. This is particularly important in when learning cloud platforms because there are so many products and services that do and solve different problems. So I want you to kind of learn throughout this process. I want you to learn how you learn best. Okay. If you don't already know that, you may already know that, but I want you to do your part to help figure out how you learn best, whether or not it's through books. If you say, hey, whenever I get introduced to something, I need to go find a book on it, and I need to see it in text, and I need to read it, or I need to hear someone talk about it on a podcast. I'm an auditory learner, or maybe I'm a kinetic learner, and I need to get hands-on with it, so I need to find myself a good tutorial or a combination of the two or three or whatever. You need to learn how you learn best so that you can start approaching new concepts quickly. Once you can do this, you become amazing, and it becomes so easy to traverse the tech industry. I need you to get comfortable. I need you to become at peace with being confused or lost, because you will be very often. This does not change. This is a misconception that you learn a bunch of stuff and you're no longer confused. We are confused all the time. No matter how much you know, you'll be presented with a problem that you are extremely confused by. And I want to make sure that you, one, understand that this happens to everyone and that it's okay. And that what you're trying to do is pick up enough context, pick up enough familiarity, pick up enough knowledge that start to know the direction to take to find your answers, rather than knowing the answer. I want you to realize that nobody knows it all. This is going to be so key. Something dropped today about Nissan. The company Nissan leaked a bunch of proprietary information from a Bitbucket server because someone there left the username and password as admin and admin. This is I'm sure whoever did it was an accident. I'm sure, probably an accident. But this is to tell you that I think people have a false mindset about what the people who are doing technical roles are, and what they know and how much they know. No one knows it all. We're all surprisingly similar. As you start to have discussions with more and more people, you'll realize that we're all kind of the same, and we're all kind of finding our way, and we all pick up on certain skills and lack many other skills. And nobody knows it all, and you're not expected to know it all either. So you don't have to stress yourself out about really trying to know it all. Like, yeah, you should try to pick up as much as you can, but nobody knows it all. So don't be afraid that you believe this person is just the smartest person ever. No, they've probably seen a lot of things, but there's plenty that they don't know. And if you knew how long they have spent in the industry, they probably don't know as much as they should know. So I wouldn't stress about that at all. I want you to have a very strong belief that tech is for you and that you can thrive in it. Again, somebody was getting paid 6 figures to make the mistake that they made at Nissan. All right, someone was getting paid 6 figures, most likely, to make that mistake. So I know that's a backwards way to tell you that tech is for you, but it's not only for some elite class of people. I get that all the time from people, and it's a feeling that I had a long time ago about tech, about programming, about all this stuff. It was for that's for a different class of people. That's for people who are super smart, MIT level. No, not at all. I will tell you right now, I've made a lot of money in tech. I will also show you my college transcripts to show you that I got lots of F's and that I never finished. I will show you a lot of things. It's not about yes, there is just as with anything in life, sure, there's a level of intelligence, there's a base level of knowledge that helps out a lot if you do have it. But I think that I think that 99% of the people around the world have these things, have enough tools to be able to get into tech in one area and thrive in it. And all of this is just like anything else. If you ever watched a bunch of sports and you know everyone's stats and you know everything that's going on and you know all the teams and the trades and all this other stuff, you can do this. I promise you can do this. Everyone knows they can do that. If you, whatever the topic is, if you've ever picked up a topic and have known a lot about it and been able to have conversations about it, you can do the same thing here in tech. So don't sweat it. And then I want you to learn how to use memes properly, because this is the most important part of tech, is that memes are a thing, and you use Slack, you use Discord, and you share those things. So that's the secondary expectations. Thank you so much, Sci-Fi or Sci-Fi 1974. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love and feeling like I was so deserving of that Twitch Prime sub. I thank you for that, for sure. All right, here's what I hope to see. Active engagement in the chat and Discord. This is for you, not for me. People have been having all kinds of conversations today. It doesn't have to be about tech. It, whatever it is, it's been amazing. I really like all the chatter that I saw today. I wish I could have participated more, but whoa, she scared me. My wife scared me because she brought me some little food. She scared me a lot, to be honest. Wow, I was ready to throw some fisticuffs a little bit. But yeah, I really liked everything that was going on there. So it was pretty dope. But it's for you. The more active you are, the more you'll get out of all the courses. And there's more opportunity for you to make opportunities for yourself, to meet different people who can help you out, to meet different people who can motivate you, to meet different people who may have opportunities. Just a good practice period. So be as active as you can in the chat, in the Discord. Ask a bunch of questions. Ask them all, no matter how crazy you think they are. You don't have to ask them in all forms. If you feel like you want to save them up, and maybe you want to ask someone specific. Maybe somebody in the chat said something, and you want to reach directly out to them. Now, I'm sorry that I'm encouraging people to reach out to other people. I'm sorry if someone starts to blow you up, but I would ask your questions. Please ask your questions. Don't feel crazy about it. I am telling you, plenty of other people have the same question that you have. So ask away. We are going to be doing office hours every other Saturday. So if you have questions that didn't get answered during the week that you weren't able to find the answer to, feel free to come through and ask away. It'll be an open time to kind of do whatever. So ask questions and answer questions. Make sure if you've got answers to questions, feel free to answer. Don't wait for me to say anything. I don't got all the answers. I told you in the last slide that everyone doesn't know everything. I will happily tell you that I have no idea what you're talking about. Not even a little bit. So answer questions if you have the answer to it. And even if you aren't 100% sure, it's okay. Try to answer. Say, hey, I just learned this the other day, and I think this is what I remember about it. Let people know that. But I encourage you to start trying to answer questions as well. Don't feel like you're too junior or you just started or whatever. Answer questions if you know the answer. Then some affirmations of progress. This is one for me. This is not to spread the brand. This is I can easily find if you are working on something or you're making progress on something and you say, hey, it's Saturday, I'm doing a little bit of code or something, and you tweet it out or whatever, and you hashtag mastermind. It means I can find it a lot easier. I love it. I'm gonna be doing the same thing because I am on a journey just like all of you. I'm learning a bunch of stuff as well. I'm actually trying to get my first AWS professional cert. And so, I'm learning just like y'all. So I will be tweeting out stuff like that as well. Mustafa, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. 4 months. That's love right there. I try to ask, but you may not see my questions. It's okay. My bad. I do. You're right. I miss out on a lot of questions. It's tough sometimes. I do want to figure out a better way. So the Coding Garden, I don't know if anyone's ever followed the Coding Garden or follows the Coding Garden. He has some cool integration set up where you can ask a question and it'll go save it off somewhere else. Maybe we'll move questions to Discord so that we have them like solidified there so that we can go through and get them all answered. I definitely need to brainstorm the best way to do that though. Yeah. What time on Saturday? It's early. It'll be at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, so it's pretty early in the morning. We probably won't be going to 11:30. We'll probably just, as long as people ask some questions, I'll probably stick around. But again, don't sweat it. The videos will go up. I will probably put office hour sessions up in all of the classrooms after they're done, just in case anyone wants to ask anything. I may even try to do a little transcript of questions that were asked in the text and with the answers to make it easier for people to run through as well, so they don't have to watch 2 hours of videos. But can't make you any promises on that. I'm gonna do my best though. What about Terrence? Terrence is around. Terrence is he's around. You probably see him. He'll be on things that we're doing probably sometimes, but yeah, he's around. The Artemisi, is it too late to start the classes? No, not at all. Not too late to start anything. All the videos go up on YouTube as well. So if you hit !YouTube, you can get a link to the YouTube. You can follow the channel. All the videos go up 24 hours after, simply because that is what Twitch, that's part of their terms of service, that it has to be 24 hours. So they go up 24 hours later, and they go up in playlists. So you can just follow a playlist and see them later if you need to see them later. So if you need to catch up the Artemisi on anything, those videos are already available. Yesterday's video goes up tonight, but I think they're all going to be up there. I started almost zero. That's so crazy to me. I'm proud of you, because I would have been so thrown off by that. I would have really struggled with that. Was it a P2? And believe me, if you could, yes. I'm always telling people it's just like anything else. I'm gonna give y'all a pep talk in a little bit before we get really started. But yeah, Adderballs, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Unc. I feel like I gotta call you Unc every time. Thank you, I appreciate it. I appreciate the love and support, man. I really do. I'm telling you, man, I can't wait until all this all this COVID stuff is over, so I can come see my family. I haven't been up there in a long time. I haven't been up there in a really long time, so I appreciate it. Is there a way you can get one of your bots to save each at direct at you? That's a good question. That's a good one. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's something we can do about that. Got to find some time to do it though, for sure. I will definitely look into that though. I'll definitely look into see what I can do about that. Yes, good question, Lucas. There's a slide coming up about conclusion certificates. It's actually the next slide. Well, it doesn't have that on here, but this is what you're gonna have. This I don't know why I didn't change these. There's only 8 live sessions for this course. All the other ones, there's 16, but there are 8 live sessions for this class in particular. It's not always like this. There's always one class that gets the 1 day a week treatment just because of time. But there'll be 8 for you, but there will be 7 quizzes. There'll be 3 exams. There will be 12 GitHub assignments. And so the reason why they're in GitHub is because they're auto graded. The GitHub assignments for this class are a little bit different because of the way that GitHub Classrooms works. But you will still get 12 GitHub assignments that you can submit. I also recommend that you spend at least 4 additional hours per week covering the supplied material. I will provide extra material for you to look into, to study, or if you're just gonna go back over the videos and dive deeper into stuff, you can do that. And I recommend that you come to 2 Saturday office hours, not necessarily to ask your own questions, but to get questions answered. Uncoded Lifestyle, thank you so much for the gifted subs. I'm telling you all, you guys got my hype train going. I still need to look up, I mean, context clues tells me I know what it means. Thank you for hyping it up, for hopping on the train. Please, everyone, whoever receives a gifted sub, please thank your gifter. Please let them know how much you appreciate the support. Let them know how much you appreciate that you don't have to watch ads anymore, because that's the best part to me. I pay for every service that I have because I despise ads. I hate it with a passion. I will go broke spending money on services so that I don't have to pay for ads, to be honest. And you get access to these sweet emojis. So, share them out a little bit, but please thank Uncoded Lifestyle for the love and the support. I appreciate it. So you will receive, if you complete, so this is something that we're working on. This is the first time we're offering any type of certificate of completion. You will have, because these are the level 1 classes. So these are the apprentice level courses. The apprentice level courses are designed to allow people to come in on the ground floor and to get going and to get moving and to get understanding and things. You will learn a lot in these courses, but they're designed so that you can hop in from the very beginning. We don't want to gatekeep on these. We don't want to make this, you got to get 80% on everything for these. The quizzes and the exams, you can fail them. I think you can fail them, but you will have the opportunity to take different versions of them pretty much as many times as you need to until you pass. And it'll give you feedback and stuff like that. So if you complete If you complete all the quizzes, if you complete all the exams, and you turn in all the 12 GitHub assignments, you will receive a certification of course completion. The other 2 courses, each of our courses comes with 3 levels. There's a journeyman's level, which is the intermediate level, and there's a master level. You will have to pass those 2. It's possible for you to fail those 2. But it's not real. If you do the stuff for this one, you will get a certificate of course completion here. So yeah. All right, we're getting some hold on, we're getting some problems again. Let's see. So we had some issues yesterday. Here's what I'm gonna do. Minor issue. Second billing cycle, thank you so much. Java Grunt, thank you so much. I appreciate the bits. Thank you for the love. I am actually, my bit rate's still good. It says I'm experiencing a few issues. I don't know what they are. It's skipping some frames. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me see if this works. All right, you know what I think it was? I need to switch out my computers. Not right now, but so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, it's both the recording and the streaming at the same time, I think causes the issue sometimes. And that could have been contributing to it yesterday, even though it appeared to be Twitch because it was bitrate related. I can download what comes out of this from Twitch right after. So yeah, so I'll leave it to not record. The computer I have here right now does not have the processor that I need to record in 4K that like my other computer does, and I'll just swap them out. So that's good I'll keep an eye on that as well. That might have been the problem the whole time. I might have, maybe I did blame Twitch when I shouldn't have, but we'll see. Everything was indicating them, but I'll apologize if it was a problematic, so we'll see. All right, so that is all the requirements for this. Now, syllabus overview, real quick. You can go to courses.mastermind or academy.mastermind to get it. This will actually be changing pretty soon. We'll be moving this to a React site, a Gatsby site. But journeys, Horizons Apprentice. So today, what are we going to go over? You're going to learn about what the cloud is. You're going to learn about AWS's global infrastructure. We're not doing billing today. We're doing billing. We're doing billing in week 3 now. And actually billing is going to probably be revisited a few times so that you can fully understand it. We're going to be talking about the AWS's shared responsibility model, making sure you know what that is. We'll do an intro to IAM. This is identity and access management. And notice it says intro right there. We're going to dive deeper into that, but this is one of AWS's biggest services. So we need to make sure we know that. We'll get this is development environment setup. I'm going to show you all, I'll share something with you all and to show you a quick way to kind of match up with my environment. If you want to, you can operate however you want to on this. But again, this is the level 1 course. So some people are coming into this completely blind, and that's okay. So I want to make sure we have the opportunity to be exactly on the same page so that you can copy along if you need to. And then we'll get an intro to the AWS CLI. Thank you all so much for the hype train. It always tells me I get all these emotes, but I have no idea like which ones are new, but I appreciate it. I really do. I'm gonna start using them now. I'm gonna start using them a lot more because I do spend a lot of time in other people's streams. Cool. Actually, let me pull up the stream as well, just so I can monitor it as well, so I can catch when it's happening, so I can at least stop talking if it's causing lots of problems, so you don't miss anything important. Okay, turn this down. Let's do it. So that's what we're gonna be learning today. Then we'll hop into EC2 all next week. Yeah, we'll hop into EC2 all next week, and then we will hop into storage. Then we will hop into structured data and talking about we'll talk about databases. We'll talk about Route 53, DNS, how the internet works, all that stuff. Then we'll dive into the fun stuff, which is infrastructure as code. We will dive into AWS CDK, Cloud Development Kit. So we'll be writing some actual code and writing some CloudFormation as well, even though I hate CloudFormation. Then we'll dive into CloudWatch and Systems Manager, dive into some security stuff, and then we'll finish up with some serverless and some projects, some fun little projects that we can add to our resumes. So cool. It's not your mic. It's the PC is struggling to process. Yeah, it's definitely it's interesting because I'm not recording right now, and it seems like it's still having trouble a little bit. But I'll watch it. I'll watch it. There's some settings I can change, but I have to stop the stream to change it. So if it becomes problematic, let me know. Sounds like it is problematic, and I can see it stuttering as well on my end. You know what I'm gonna do, real quick? Hold on. Output. All right. So I'm gonna stop the stream for 1 second. You shouldn't have to refresh or anything. You shouldn't have to refresh, but it might make you refresh. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna change one setting and I'm gonna start it right back up. All right, what's up, Alberto? Good to have you. What's up, Jab Slad? Welcome as well. Good to have you. Thank you so much for the follows. So I do think it's some. I do think it was something I could fix because I was recording. My canvas and everything was stayed at 4K. I was doing everything at 4K, and then I was downscale. I was like having it secondary process to downscale. Now it's actually outputting at 1080p rather than trying to do a different type of downscaling. It should help out. There still might be issues, but it should help. I do have a more powerful computer, and I'll fix it next time if it's super problematic. But cool, I think we're good there. All right, so that is everything that we're gonna do with that. So we can hop right into what we're gonna do. Here's the pep talk. Your pep talk is simply about how you can do it. So you will get discouraged, you will get confused, you will want to quit, but you can do it. That's pretty much the entirety of the pep talk. I will give you all pep talks weekly. I'll give you real pep talks. We're saving the good stuff for later. I'll give you some real pep talks when you're no longer motivated. You will get to a point where you run into a problem and you're discouraged. You will be like, man, I really don't understand this. And it'll be much harder for you to show up to the next class or do the assignment or whatever it is, to dive into it a little bit deeper. You won't always feel like it. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone starts to do those things and they're like, well, all these people out here, they want to do this stuff. I don't want to do it right now. Yo, that is just like anything else. Keep going. I know it sounds like something simple. Do your best to keep going. What I would say is that every time you feel like that, do one more thing before you quit. Whether that's another problem, whether that is whether that's coming to the next class, whatever. Do one more thing before you quit. So if you say on Tuesday, you say, hey, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. Do one more thing. Do one more assignment. Just do one more thing before you decide to quit. But that's it. I know it's tough. I know you all have lives going on. Don't be kind to yourself. Don't stress yourself out if you have to miss a class. They'll be online. You can catch up. Not a big deal. Don't stress yourself out if you have to leave early or do this. Everyone's got other things going on, and you've got to find your balance. It's okay to have to move around and modify things in the way that you need to do them, but you can get through it. One of the best ways to do it is to do it together. That's why I encourage you all to talk as much in the chat, to make some friends, because it'll really help you do some stuff. It'll really help you continue along with what we're doing here. What are the office hours going to look like? Will you be streaming here and answering questions? Yeah, so I'll be streaming here for office hours. It'll be crazy chill. I'll be like, if no questions come in, we'll get off. I'll probably do something small. People from all three boot camps are coming at the same time. We'll answer questions. We may go deeper into some things if the questions warrant it. But there's no real structure yet. It's just kind of first come, first serve. I'll be able to watch the chat a little bit better because I'm not I won't be really multitasking, so hoping I can do that. Maybe I'll see if one of the interns wants to help me queue up some questions or something. But yeah, that's all we'll be doing. I see the Angel Academy subscription offer is the best socks in the world. Are they socks 5? I don't know what socks 5 is, but probably not if I don't know what that is. But maybe they should be SOX 5, and maybe I'll look that up. Maybe I'll look that up right after this. Yeah, yes. Great question. Yes, we are going to do breaks at specific times. We're not going to do a break at a specific time today. But again, like I said, today is the only super packed day. We will probably do 54 minutes on, 6 minutes off. We were going to do 48 on, 12 off. That actually might work for this class. I think for the other two, since they're only 2 hours, having 24 minutes of open time is problematic. I think it's going to be tough to get people out in time. But we'll probably do 54 minutes on, 6 minutes off, and there will be a timer. So yes, that was a good question. I didn't share that with anybody, but that is something that we're implementing this time around. Yeah. The link to the website is, I can link it in the Discord. I think you can type in, did I not make a command for that? Yeah, so website, oh, actually that's not the website. Well, academy.mastermind.io is the website. Just remove the journeys. That's not supposed to be there. I can update the website command, but I'll do that later. Working with SOX 5 and SSH tunneling. Oh, SOX 5 sounds like not a SOX company, but rather a protocol or something. A proxy. Okay, all right. Well, maybe we will get some SOX 5 action, because I don't have to order anything. It looks like I can just use it. You know, I need proxies. I do use proxies, so yeah. All right, here we go. That's the pep talk. Let's get going. Let's do the thing. So what the heck is the cloud? And we're gonna keep everything real simple here. We're not going to overcomplicate what any of this is. It's much simpler than you think it is. But what in the world is the cloud? All the cloud is, you probably all seen the stickers that says all the cloud is somebody else's computer. And that is what it is. It is a distributed network. It's a distributed network of computing resources. Okay, it's distributed networked computing resources. You're about to find out what computing resources are, but it's a network of computers all around the world. It also provides on-demand access without direct active management by the user. These are the qualities of the internet. These are the attributes of the cloud. This is not AWS specific. This is what cloud computing is. Okay, distributed meaning in different places. All right, and they're networked together. They can speak to each other, and you can get on-demand access to these things without active management by yourself. That's all it is. It's not anything crazy. It's not magic at all. It's just a bunch of network computers. That's it. So when it says back here, it says networked computing resources. And notice it does not just say networked computers. It says networked computing resources. What are computing resources? Well, computing resources are different. Excuse me, I have to eat one French fry because they're just staring me in the face. Sorry. Okay, these computing resources are the tangible properties of a system that you can use to do processing. Okay, and resources, if the word is resource, resources can be used up, so they are finite. But these are what they're talking about when they say computing resources. There are many more that I'm about to tell you now. I'm about to tell you about the 3 main computing resources if you don't already know about them. The first one is the CPU. This is the central processing unit. This is the brain of your computer. It contains all the circuitry needed to process input, store data, and output results. The CPU is constantly following instructions of computer programs to tell it which data to process and how to process it. Without the CPU, we cannot run a program. The CPU, it does all the processing. Central processing unit does all of the processing. It's the workhorse of the computer. It's helping work on that logic, make those decisions about what you're passing into it, and it's delivering it back to you. On your own computer, think about your Core i5s or Core i7s and, Core i3, whatever, Ryzen, whatever your processor is, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about CPUs when they're talking about that. All the new hoopla about the Apple M1 chips. They're talking about, they're talking about Apple Silicon. They're talking about CPU. Theirs is a little different because it's actually a whole system on the chip. It's got everything else on there too. But for the most part, they're discussing the CPU, the brain of the computer, and how it works, how powerful it is. These are Uh, yeah, that's all we need to know about that right now. RAM is another thing. You probably all heard about the RAM in your computers, how much RAM you got. But RAM stands for Random Access Memory. All right, and it's used for the temporary storage of data. And I really want you to notice that temporary part of it. This is the most minimal answer I could give you, and I'm going to explain a little bit more. But I didn't want to go too deep onto RAM because RAM is very, very important. The CPU, all the instructions it takes are directly from the RAM. So your RAM it temporarily stores data to pass to the CPU and back, and that's kind of what feeds it. So the faster the RAM is, the more powerful, the more capacity your RAM has, the faster it is. The more your compute, it helps your CPU process things. It's pretty great. The only thing I want you to know about RAM right now is that it's ephemeral. So it's ephemeral storage. It's storage that doesn't last for long. It's also volatile. So if you remove power from the system, if you cut the system off, the data that is on these RAM sticks goes away. Okay, so it's volatile. Ephemeral and volatile. This is not for permanent storage of your data. All right. So yeah, M1 is amazing. It's great to get so much better performance in the next couple of years. Yeah, I'm excited about what Apple's doing. I'm very excited. People for some reason people always think that I hate Apple products. I don't hate Apple products. I really don't. I have an iPad because I think the iPad is the best tablet. I don't use a Mac only because I play games. That's been historically the reason why I don't use a Mac. And you know, if I'm a fan of using the best tool for the job, I don't like to do all around things. So I believe this in cars as well. So I have a ridiculous truck for no reason, but I plan on towing things with it and using it for truck things. And I think it's okay to and then I also want to have a sports car, and then I want to have a get around car, rather than getting one car that can do it all. So I feel the same way about computers. And because I play games, you know, I got this for development. I will grab my Linux laptop. I have a System 76 Linux laptop, and that's what I would grab. But I really do like what Mac is doing, and they may become the perfect tool for me and for the job. But that's why I have there are no better tablets than the iPad to me. That's what I got. All right. So the only other resource I'm going to tell you about tonight is a hard drive. Unlike RAM, the hard drive stores data even after the machine is turned off. So it is not volatile. A hard drive is a storage unit for the machine. This is for persistent data. We're going to use that word a lot here. We're going to use persistent or permanent data a lot. And so it's very important that you understand, I think you understand what persistent or permanent means. Kept around for a long time. It is there. That's where you save things to. So these are resources that you can gain access to through the cloud. So not only gaining access, it's not only the on-demand access to computers, it's on-demand access to computing resources. All right. So you may only want access to some storage, which would be hard drive space or some type of persistent storage space, or maybe you only want access to compute power, to a CPU and some RAM so that you can process some things. So that was the first thing that kind of blew my mind about the cloud, and trying to really understand what it was, is that you can get specific pieces of a computer. You can access specific resources from a computer rather than having to do everything all at once. All right, so back down. Let's talk about the old way. So if the cloud is the new fancy way of doing things, everyone's all excited about the cloud. What was the old way? Well, the old way, when you needed computing resources, if you were a company, if you were a clothing company, the company that sells the sweet Mastermind socks, okay? You know, everybody wants themselves a pair of Mastermind socks. Let's say you were that company and you had revolutionary socks, and you've been in business for a little while and you've been selling some socks. You had yourself a nice little server in the closet. There's a closet next to you. You're in a building. You all grabbed a server years ago, and you've been running it for a little while. A server is simply a computer that has software on it specifically for serving data over a network. But let's say you're doing that. It's been running great. You've been building the site, it's been doing its job. But these socks are so great. You ended up on a famous show. Let's say the Oprah show, or let's say Dr. Phil. That doesn't make any sense, but maybe you ended up on Dr. Phil for your amazing socks that you are now selling, and everyone wants a pair. Now everyone loves you. Or maybe they went up on Reddit and you get the Reddit hug of death, and everyone goes to your site, and everything goes down because you do not have the capacity to serve these people. You say, okay, cool, that was terrible, awful, that happened. It happens to people, that blows over. But everyone's gonna come back to your site because you're gonna be on another show in maybe a month. So in preparation, if you want to make sure you have enough traffic, if you want to make sure that you can handle the traffic and you want access to more computing resources, do you know what you would have to do? You would have to go to Dell.com, or you would have to go to HP.com, or you'd have to pick up the phone or find a rep, and you'd have to configure the system that you want. You'd have to pick the CPU. You'd have to pick the RAM, all that stuff. That's cool. We're comfortable doing that. You pick it all, and then you got to buy it. All right. You can lease it too, but you got to buy it. And it's expensive. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. And it maybe, you have to plan for the future. So you have to get something much more powerful than your needs are right now. And you got to spend all that money right up front, and you put in the order. Then you wait weeks, and it gets shipped out to your place, and it comes in a big gross box. And then you pull it out the box. It's like Christmas, and you say, cool, I got this thing. Now I got to find somewhere to put it. I got to take it out. I got to put it on a rack. Generally you put it on something called a rack, because servers, more powerful servers come flat. They come as kind of these large flat units rather than the computers that you're used to seeing. But some come like that as well. But you got to put it somewhere, and you got to also pay for fast internet and plug it in and wire it up to all the rest of your systems. And then you got to install an operating system on it. Usually got to install an operating system on it and get it all set up and get it all networked in and get it all configured to work with your stuff. Then you've got to install all the libraries and binaries that run your application that you use. Someone's got to set all that stuff up. Then you got to install your applications on it and get it ready, set up your web servers, all the other stuff to get it to run. And you got to stick it into your cluster, and now everything is good to go. Now you can serve all of those people. You now have more access to more things. It took you weeks to get access to more RAM and to more CPU power, to more hard drive space. But you did all that so that people could come to your site for a 3-day window. Maybe it was Black Friday weekend and Cyber Monday. They came to your site for that long. And now they're no longer coming to your site. And now you have this overpriced server eating up your power. You spent all this money on, and it's now not being utilized. Okay, very inefficient. But that's what the old way was. That's how classical computing works. You've got to buy the thing, you've got to set up the thing, you've got to over provision, because you got to be ready for when something else happens. If your stuff's not enough, it's just not going to be enough that day. You can't really get access to new stuff. All right, and it's problematic. It really is problematic for organizations who want to move fast. We live in an age where everything's online, and you want quick access to computing resources. So if that was the old way, what's the new way? The new way is that I can now utilize everything that I just said. Other companies, these cloud companies, have done this already. They've already purchased the servers. They have them on hand. They're already set up to the network together. They're already there. They're available. They're waiting for someone to use them. I can now simply go online, click on some buttons, and say, hey, I think I'm going to have a lot of traffic this weekend to my website. I need this much computing power. I need 10 cores of CPU. I need 32 gigs of RAM. I need 50 gigabytes of hard drive space to be able to serve these people, or I believe I do. So I'll tell Amazon, I'll tell Microsoft, I'll tell one of these cloud providers that that's what I need through the click of a few buttons, and I will immediately have access to those things to use how I would like. I pay for what I use. I pay for it for as long as I use it. You only pay for what you use. And you get to use it. If you ever need more, it's at a click of a button, you have more. If you ever want less, at the click of a button, you have less. You can get rid of it whenever you want. So no contracts, no nothing like that. So what this allows for is flexibility. All right. The new way allows for flexibility. You in your house right now, in the matter of, if you already had, if I had functioning systems, like an application that was amazing, and I knew I was going to get tons of traffic because The Rock hopped on my channel right now, me in my house, I could provision enough infrastructure in minutes that could serve millions of people, millions of requests, but it would cost me. Whether or not I would be able to afford it, I don't know. Remember, you pay for what you use, including things like data transfer. You pay for how much stuff is being stored. You pay for everything. Really, it can be relatively cheap, but this can be a more expensive option. But that is the new way. That is why everyone's utilizing it, because of the flexibility that it gives you. Your ability to have the power of a company like Amazon at your fingertips is exactly why people love it so much. All right, that was a big rant about the old way and the new way. These are the main 3 cloud vendors. This is the big 3. These are not the only cloud vendors. There are many, many, many more cloud vendors. But right here on the top right, we have AWS. That's what we're going to be spending the next 8 weeks learning. On the left, we have Microsoft Azure. That is Microsoft's cloud. It is so AWS by far has the largest market share. I'm going to show you on the next slide. Azure is second on this list, and Google Cloud Platform is right here. These are what are considered the major cloud providers. There are, I think Alibaba Cloud is now considered major cloud, a few others, but there are a lot of other cloud providers like Linode. Someone threw it out there. I do appreciate that, Nasty. Yes, who is a channel sponsor. They are absolutely a cloud provider, and they're actually my preferred cloud provider for development and for if I'm not running any kind of enterprise stuff. I prefer smaller cloud providers like Linode. There's also other ones like DigitalOcean, Heroku even, but there are many cloud providers out there. But these are the big 3 for your role, like jobs. If you're looking for a job, you should dive into one of the 3 right here. All right, so why AWS? Out of all these, why are we specifically learning about AWS? We're doing that for 2 reasons. One, because I know the most about AWS. 2021, I am going to be diving heavily into Azure. I've spent a lot of time with AWS. I've built tons of things. I've run significant infrastructures, global infrastructures in AWS. I've done some really cool things with it. One, I know the most about it, so it was easiest to hop into to share. But the biggest reason is because it's got the largest market share by a lot. So I think this is still like 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old now at this point. But it still looks something like this. They actually might even have more market share. I know Microsoft was catching up, but I don't think they were stealing that much from Amazon. I think they were stealing from the people below them. But Amazon has by far the biggest market share. What does this mean? This means that there are more jobs with AWS. There are if you go to Indeed or anything like that and you type in AWS, you're gonna get all kinds of roles that aren't just cloud engineer. Like there's going to be developer roles. There's going to be everything on there about it because AWS is such a big thing. Now, let's be clear. We're going to talk about salaries one of these days. Whoops, sorry. But because there are more AWS roles, there are also more AWS engineers. The market is absolutely not saturated with engineers, but in comparison to some of the other markets, so you could actually probably make more on the high end by focusing on Azure or Google Cloud Platform because there are less engineers to choose from. But your fastest way into a role in the cloud, I stand strongly behind that. It is with AWS. They were first. They were the first, like kind of. I'm not saying they were the first cloud. They were the first of the big players, and so they've been able to kind of meet people's. They've been able to stay ahead of the curve a little bit just because they were first. But yeah, you're gonna learn a lot about that. So that's it for the basics, the introduction to the cloud, the introduction to AWS. Does anyone have any questions about what we just did before we dive into the next set of slides? The next set of slides is going to be specifically focused around getting into AWS, understanding their global infrastructure, how those things work, taking a look at the services and things that they have. But does anyone have any questions about anything that they've seen so far? This is our first little break. If you hate yourself, Oracle Cloud, absolutely Oracle Cloud. I don't know if it's bad or not, but Oracle has made a bad name for themselves with the developers, to be honest. But their database offering is ridiculous. The cost of it is out of control. But yeah. That's killing with AWS in Atlanta. That's dope. Yeah. I mean, people are killing with AWS everywhere. That's dope though. Can you tell me more applications of cloud computing? Great question. Okay, so cloud computing. All right. This is a really good question. It's a layered question in that it's hard to explain more applications of it if you don't have some insight on how things are served now. So right now you are watching what you are watching right now is a combination of a bunch of things. One, there is likely an application that is there's a server that took your request for twitch.com, and when you went to /mastermind.io, there is a system, there's some code that was written that says, all right, when this gets typed in, I'm going to match it. I'm going to make some requests to get data about this person's channel from a database. And I'm going to go to this database and I'm going to grab some things. I'm going to pass it back to this, to the person's computer. I'm also going to provide their browser with a link to a data feed, to a video feed that is being served through another set of servers. Everything you see that's digital, every website you go to, all of it has to be processed by a computer. And traditionally that was done by a computer that you owned, just like your laptop. Your laptop could be a server. These systems aren't special. They process requests, they figure out what to do with it, and they deliver it back. They send information over a network. But again, it takes processing power. It takes computing resources to be able to do this, to be able to do that. So if you said, hey, I would love to do a stream, but I don't want to do it over Twitch. I want to set up my own stream. You need to have computing resources powerful enough. You need to have enough CPU that can take in a video feed, decode it, encode it into other formats, fast enough internet to be able to send it out over a network. You need something to process all of the requests that are coming in to be able to formulate this into a real video, and that can be costly. That takes real tangible computing power. So cloud computing isn't something special. It is just computing. It is just computers. So running a website, maybe I'm a company who needs to train some machine learning models, and instead of spending the ridiculous amount of money that I would need to get, you know, all of the 3090s in the world, or all of the Titan XPs or whatever graphics cards I need to do that processing, I can instead rent that power from a cloud provider. But cloud computing is not, it's just computing. It's computing that's done over a network, really. Different resources done over a network. We'll definitely make more sense of that. You're gonna see really soon, I'm gonna show you a bunch of services that they offer, and I think that'll give you more insight onto the types of applications and things you can do in the cloud, because it's literally anything, but anything you can think of. But yeah. So the limitation of cloud computing is basically the bandwidth of the connection between the server and you. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, yes. Yes, you can get almost unlimited, essentially unlimited power if you have the money for it. So the limitation is your wallet and the connection between you and the server. But yeah, a good example of an application of the cloud is Twitch. Yep, running global by AWS, 100%. This is guaranteed to be running over AWS globally. Yeah, so geography is a really good part of it that we're about to talk about. With AWS's global infrastructure, geography is really important. So let's get into that right now, because all of those will start to feed in a little bit more to that. So the next set of slides we're gonna use are, these are older slides, the setup slide. Yeah, let's do this. Let's make sure this is available to all of you. Links vary. Anyone with link, copy link. Let me make sure you have this. All right, so we're gonna take a little tour of Amazon Web Services. You don't necessarily need to worry about getting it set up right now. If it's going to impact what you're doing, if you don't already have an AWS account, You can sign up for it right now. It does. I made sure I put it on the page for this, that you do need a credit card to sign up for an Amazon Web Services account. Now, two caveats here. One, nothing that we do should cost you any money. Amazon has free tiers for everything. Yeah, it's got free tiers for just about every service that they have. So it's not going to cost you any money, even though it does need a credit card. There's no way around it, unfortunately. But it does need a credit card. And it will not cost you any money. We're not going to do anything that costs you money because of the free tiers. Now, someone did reach out to me because they didn't fully understand the concept of the free tier. So I'm going to make sure that when we get into the free tier stuff, I explain it to you, because they were like, oh, cool, I have a bunch of free servers, and they spun up like 30 different like free tier instances, and then it eventually ended up charging them one day. Now, two things. One, Amazon's customer support is amazing. Amazon's so rich that if you just say, hey, I was trying to learn, if you send them a message, do not overuse this. Do not do this on purpose, because you may be the person that they don't do this to. But if you reach out and say, hey, I was attempting to learn AWS and I was practicing, I was doing this course, I did not mean to keep these resources running, usually they will credit your account for the full value. Every time I've accidentally overcharged myself or overcharged for services, they've been super kind, and I've never had to pay anything that I did not mean to pay. But don't lean on that. Don't rely on that. I haven't done it in a long time. I don't know if they still do it, but their support's pretty nice. They make a ton of money. They understand. So I wouldn't be too afraid of it, but you do need a credit card for this. All right, so create AWS account. If you hit !AWS, it will give you a link to just AWS sign up page. The account is completely free. Okay. And so you can head there right now. I should create a new account right now, but I'm not going to. We're making good time. Can't reach this page. Oh, is it not console.aws.com? What is it? I told you I'm a bad typist, so there we go. Look at Bing. Look at Bing. So first off, the reason why I'm using Bing, you might be saying, Aaron, why are you using Bing? I hear you. I do hear you. The reason I'm using Bing is because I have this. What you are looking at right now is a Surface Pro. And it's going through my other computer. But Bing allows you to annotate in the, it has some tools to allow me to annotate directly in the browser if I ever need to. I don't usually need to, but I might need to one day. So I'm trying to give it a chance. I will definitely switch from Bing because Bing's not good. I typed in AWS console. They gave me Azure console. Very interesting. That's a pretty funny move to me. Whoa. But yeah. Bing rewards to donate. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll spend my time trying to get some Bing rewards. But what you can do right here is you can go ahead over here and create an AWS account. And you know what? Nah, I'm not going to create a new one, but put in your email address. There's no difference in creating an account here than anywhere else you've ever done anything. I don't remember there being any caveats in there. Go ahead and create yourself an account. Like I said, it will ask you for a credit card. But I'm going to sign into my existing AWS account to get going so I can show you all some stuff. You have plenty of time. You have until next Friday to set your AWS account up. We're not going to do, well, so if you want to be able to follow along later on when we set up the AWS CLI, you will need your account set up. And it might help to click around, but you can also learn everything tonight that you need to from watching. What's up, Black Avatar? What have you missed? You missed us talking about what the cloud was. Got people introduced to what the cloud was, to what people did before the cloud, the way things worked before the cloud, and talked a little bit about a very small amount about what AWS was. We talked about computing resources. We haven't even gotten into, we're just diving into AWS right now. So you are, you're here. Can you not delete the old videos on YouTube? Not every video is the same. There's lots of nuggets in there. Good questions. Yeah. So, a bunch of other people brought that up to me when I said it in on Monday. And so all that's going to change is that I'm not going to delete them. We might Maybe we might pull the playlist down. Maybe we might leave the playlist. We were trying to clean up the YouTube channel, but like I actually don't think we need to. I think that I misunderstood the YouTube setup. So yeah, so I could unlist them as well. But I actually don't. It's fine that they're listed. It's definitely fine that they're listed. Yeah, I mean, ideally, yeah, it's not a big deal. A bunch of other people reached out about it as well. I'll leave them up. I don't care. I'll definitely, but I'll figure it out one day. There's not enough now. So make a playlist unlisted and list them in the Discord. I like that. I list them in the Discord as well as the Google Classroom, because people can still get to the Google Classrooms from like what they see in the video. They can enter the codes and stuff. So that's a good idea. I'll try that. Just created an AWS account in 3 minutes. It's pretty easy, fast. Excellent. There we go, Manute. Yeah, it is pretty easy. So go through and create it. And then once you enter your information, it should drop you into this right here. And let's talk about what you're looking at right now. Listed with the year. See, yeah, listed with the, that's, I am going to start to, that's why I changed the section of these to like Q1 2020 and stuff, because the year is going to help a lot. So the first thing you are greeted with inside of AWS is the console, okay? The console, it's a web-based graphical user interface for managing your AWS account and resources, okay? So it's not just to like manage users and stuff. Like you can manage all of your web resources, all of your cloud resources right from the console. It's not the most intuitive interface. You will get confused. It is better than it used to be. It used to be the worst. It used to actually be the worst interface ever. Sorry, anyone from AWS. It was awful. It is better, but it is not amazing. Here's why it sucks. It sucks because it has text everywhere, but they almost can't get around that. Almost. There's text everywhere. There's lots of words. There's lots of things everywhere. And then inside of each of these things is like its own section for controlling a different cloud resource. There is not a lot of consistency between each of them. Different teams work on each of them, and so you'll get different experiences when you go into one thing than if you go into something else, and it's pretty confusing, to be honest. So don't sweat it. You will get confused. We will take our time with all of this stuff. What's up, Unique ID? How are you doing? Happy Friday for sure. At least it's not Azure Portal. So last time I saw Azure Portal, I've never been in there a lot. It seemed nicer. It looked nicer, at least. Yeah, I was like, I feel like Azure's is better. I don't know, but yeah. All right, so this is the console. This is your web interface for managing things in the cloud. The reason why we're specifically, you might say, oh, well, like, I mean, okay, it's a website. Yeah. The reason why we're making a point of this is because there's more than one way to interact with the cloud. All right. There's more than one way to interact with AWS. Before I tell you too much about that, I'm just going to go through the slides as is. Then I'll explain everything else you need to know about it. Do I have to sign in as root or IAM? The first time you log in, for now, everyone log in as root. There are two options there. You're going to learn about IAM tonight. You can't log in as IAM off break. If you just created your account, you log in as root. Yeah, I have no idea. GCP for the win. I have no idea what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there either, honestly. What's up, True Food? Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Good to have you. Thank you for the love. All right, so here's why Amazon is so powerful and why it's so confusing and why people will pay you so much to know it. It's all because of the services. All right. AWS has over 175 services at this point. They have over 100. I think they're like almost at 200 or maybe right over 200, but they have a lot of services, a whole lot of services. I should get the exact amount for you. We can look that up in a second because it changes all the time. They release services very often. Services can be used like Legos to build what you need. All right, so they have over 175 tools that you can link together like Legos to build a solution for whatever your problem is. Each of these services does a different thing. Each of these services has different computing resources associated with them. They're built differently, they cost different things, they use different technologies, so it's pretty interesting. That is what you're learning. That is what we are spending our time learning, is what those services are and what problems they solve. So that's what we're learning. And they're all pay as you go or pay for what you use. All right. And so services are broken up into a bunch of different categories that we're about to take a look at. So we're gonna take a tour of what this looks like. So you're in here, you're in the console. This is what you get dropped off at. There's a search bar at the top. You will utilize this search bar most likely because it helps, because it's very difficult to do stuff with. IAM is fine to sign into. I really don't think you can right up front. Maybe you can. Maybe it creates a IAM user for you now. It didn't used to. You had to sign in as root the first time, and then after you created an IAM user, then you could do that. But I don't know. Yeah, so they really, like, the comparison to Legos, it really is like Legos. It's a bunch of building blocks. All these services are just building blocks so that you can make a solution. So, oh yeah, once you sign up, yep. Okay, that's interesting. I know you do that. So here are all of our services. The tour of this is that we are immediately presented with all 200 services, basically. So they're broken up into different categories, and they're broken up into categories based on their main, their intended purpose and kind of their intended what computing resource they primarily use. So it's a little bit of both. All right. And so we have some things in the compute thing. So if you need something that needs to do some processing and you need some computing power, some CPU power, you would grab one of these. So we've got a couple of different services under here: EC2, Lightsail, Lambda, Batch, Elastic Beanstalk, Serverless Application Repository, AWS Outpost, EC2 Image Builder. Already overwhelming. Already, you're like, what? How am I supposed to know what all these things are? And we got containers, and these used to exist underneath the compute, to be honest. And now they're on their own place. We have the Elastic Container Registry and Elastic Container Service and Kubernetes. So these are, if you need to do any type of container work, they got you covered with multiple different services. If you need storage, another computing resource, we have S3, EFS, FSX, S3 Glacier, Storage Gateway, AWS Backup. We have a bunch of different options that building blocks that can help you with storage, and they all do different things. They all do different things. Well, they may be able to be used to solve the same problem, but they are intended to do different things, and usually the pricing guides that, performance will guide that and stuff as well. We got all kinds of stuff here. We got migration and transfer. We got a bunch of database stuff, a bunch of networking and content delivery, a bunch of developer tools. So if you ever want to go all AWS, and that's just what you want to do, AWS bought a service called Cloud9 a long time ago. I don't know if anyone ever got to use it, but it's a web-based IDE. So if you ever want to write all your code, the last company I worked with, the original tech lead when we started the project, he did everything. He got rid of the MacBook because we were all AWS. He got a Chromebook, and he did everything out of Cloud9. He managed everything out of Cloud9. I don't like that. I wouldn't have liked that, because, and it's not because of the remote experience. I don't like interfacing with things in the browser, to be honest. So like right now, I do use a remote development environment, but I use it through VS Code. But yeah, just throwing some stuff out there. But they have a bunch of stuff to help you build stuff as a developer. They got some robotics and blockchain and even satellite stuff that you can get access to. Analytics, their analytics tools are pretty amazing. If you're into some sweet IoT stuff, Internet of Things, and you like to set up sensors and all this other stuff, you got a lot of access to some cool stuff over here. They have everything. Look at this. Look at all this machine learning stuff that they have. You're trying to learn machine learning, they have a bunch of amazing tools and stuff in here for you to be able to do stuff with that. All kinds of crap. There's just so much stuff. Security, identity, compliance. There's so much here. Way too much. You can never learn it all. You can never learn. Like, well, I won't say never, but like you can't learn it all. But there are a bunch of core services. There are a bunch of important services to be familiar with. And those are the things that we're going to be focusing on, the same ones that they focus on their exams. Let's see. Can you quickly piece together a sample of a web app from these services and sort of an overview of how they're used? I like that. So cool. Yeah, we're about to dive into this, but I like that. So we will do that. All right. So, piece together. I'll show you a couple real world things. So one, when you go to mastermind.io or academy.mastermind.io, here's what that looks like. This is actually using, my site actually uses, whoops, it is really good. I like that you asked that, and we're gonna do it. My site is, both of these sites are static websites, and they are served from what is called an S3 bucket. So if I go back over here, S3 buckets are actually underneath the storage tab. They're called buckets. It's object storage. It's designed for you to have cheap, reliable storage. And so, but they also have the ability to do some web serving if you have a static website. So here is my S3 bucket, right? Let's put it over here. It's a bucket. All right. So this is my S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. Not a big deal though right now. And this is where all of my site files go in here. So I'm gonna draw some little things like this. These are my documents. So the code, my site is, my Academy site is React, but my other site is Hugo, I think. But it's gonna be React pretty soon. They go into that S3 bucket. They go into that storage location. Now, this is you. This is you very happy sitting at your computer, smiling. You're at your laptop. You're at your laptop and you're typing away. All right. And you want to go ahead and get access to mastermind.io. There are a couple different things that happen. One, first, your request actually goes out to an AWS service. Yes, it goes out to an AWS service called, I'm trying to think of what I can draw it as. I'll just draw a box. It goes out to a service called Route 53 first, which is a DNS service, a domain name service. It is the thing that translates your request from mastermind.io into an IP address, and so that it can know where to go. Computers operate over these IP addresses. These computers have no idea what mastermind.io is. That's for us. That domain name is for us. Computers need some numbers. They need some data to know what the real address is. They need to know what computer to go reach out to. So that service, Route 53, I have no idea what Route 53 is under, but I'll just type it in. Scalable DNS domain name registration. There we go. So it goes out there so that your computer knows where to go. Then it actually, Route 53, it really goes back to your computer. Then, because your computer knows where to go now, it actually hits a bigger layer of something, which is called CloudFront. This is a content delivery network. It's a CDN. And what this does is it caches content from a website, and it disperses them to something called edge locations all around the world, so that when you make a request on my site, you are able to get a copy of the website from somewhere that is geographically closest to you, so that it makes it a lot easier for me to serve to a lot of people. It also makes it faster for you to get things. It also reduces the load from whatever server that I have. And this actually just goes back over here and it gets the stuff from the S3 bucket for the first time. So there's a bunch of stuff that, like, for a simple static website that I have, this is an application. This is kind of how an application works. So I'm using 3 different AWS services to serve that. I'm using these 3 different AWS services to be able to serve my site. Okay. Yeah, just want that, that's I can take you through all kinds of applications, all types of things. We will run through a bunch of that. So that's kind of how mine works. This is a common paradigm. Some people skip this part. You don't really need this part, to be honest, but it is super cheap. So I go ahead and use that. But little light example, if we have time at the end, I'll go over a few more examples with you as well. Because I do think examples like that help. bit of a side question. Why are you switching your site to React? I'm only switching my site to React because my interns are learning React. Like, because React is cool. I mean, I don't really care about it, to be honest. I'm not a web developer, but I'm giving, like, it's a tool that's valuable for them. So this is built in React, and I'll move this over to being built in React as well. But that's really into it's really to help get them prepared, because they're going to be building some web applications to support this. These are static websites. These are informational websites. They don't really need React, but I'll be adding on to these with we're building genuine applications for this stuff. And yeah, and the fast rendering helps. They're both statically generated. Okay, so acronym soup. This is something that I definitely want to talk about, because it is one of the more confusing pieces of especially AWS, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed and too overworked by what's happening here. So the console is cool and all, but the true power of the cloud is that it can be, oh wait, actually, this is not the right slide. Acronym soup is supposed to be, man, I really messed this one up. Acronym soup is supposed to be that the AWS has a lot of services and they have stupid names. All right, point blank, period. They got dumb names. Well, okay, I don't want to say dumb names. They have names that aren't good for people. We can see here EC2, S3, EFS, you know, all stuff like this. They're getting better with it. RDS, a bunch of acronyms to talk about what they are. You will end up remembering what they are. Unintuitive names. I love it. Unintuitive names for sure. And it makes it difficult to navigate it for us. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. EFS stands for Elastic File System. Like, you'll learn the things. RDS, Relational Database Service. You will learn it. VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. Route 53. Route 53. You all taught me this because I was wondering why it was called Route 53. It is because the port for DNS is port 53. That's for the DNS service. So great, exciting, and it's a road. It kind of makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, trash. All the names here are trash. AWS is an acronym. Garbage. It's hard to remember. Don't let that throw you off. Stick with it. The naming is stupid. You are not the only person who is having trouble with all of the names. It's acronym soup. It'll come to you the more and more you touch things. You'll forget things. It's okay. It's okay for you to forget things as well. So just wanted to bring that up a little bit, to make sure you know that we all understand that it's a problem, and you don't have to feel bad about being confused about it. The other thing that this slide is supposed to talk about, I'm going to fix this after this, is that AWS can be accessed in two ways. So it says the console is cool and all, but the true power in the cloud is that it can be accessed and controlled programmatically. This is a big deal. This can be done in two different ways. Excuse me. What does programmatically mean? Programmatically means it can be accessed through code. It can be accessed in an automated fashion. It can be accessed through tools and things that you can use to make some pretty powerful things happen. So instead of having to go through and click around, you can control everything in your AWS account and all of your services and stuff. You can control them through code, or through requests. So the cloud is not what the cloud really is. We talked about, all those network computers and stuff. It is, but it's really it's really a layer of software that sits over top of all of that hardware infrastructure. And that layer of software is the orchestration that says, all right, cool. Well, Aaron from Baltimore said they want a server that is in on the West Coast, and that layer of software goes and makes sure that thing can happen. And it does it through that piece of software is an API layer. So all of AWS, it's an API. API stands for Application Programming Interface, or Application Program Interface. And so it allows you to be able to interact with internal AWS systems that are not exposed. So everything that you do in here, when I click on EC2, it is making a request to AWS's API, and I'm getting data back right here in the console. I can make those same requests from through code or from the command line using an AWS CLI tool And so it's really cool and really powerful the way that you can automate things, the way that you can structure things so that I don't know, you can do things on a large scale. Whenever you can do stuff with code, you can do them on a really big scale, and that is the true power of the cloud. Like that's what makes the cloud so great. All right, and so this is stuck in here as homework because we did this in our the last Horizons class. So it is just to get the AWS CLI set up. We're going to do that right now. We're not going to do that as homework. We're going to get it set up right now. But before we get it set up, let's dive deeper into AWS. I've never used their object recognition at all, but I've heard good things about it. I don't think I've used any of their AI stuff. I use it to build we built like an Alexa chatbot with it, but like, no, I haven't really used any of their cool stuff. Oh, but cool. I'm glad that explanation makes a little bit of sense. Once it was explained to me that way, it helped a lot. So it's okay if the explanation doesn't make sense to you. It took me a long time to truly understand what an API was, especially coming from the ops world. Like I really didn't, like, I thought I understood what an API was, but I didn't really understand it until I got into the dev world at all. But it really helps a lot, and I'll try to show it a little bit deeper. All right, so AWS global infrastructure. Global. Think about the whole world. It is global. All right, this is very, very important. If you want to, you got to know this. You must. These are must knows. These are not things to gloss over. Very, very important. AWS, the infrastructure that they run, it's all around the world. It's not everywhere in the world, but it is all around the world. All right, and this is a big topic that will ask you this on the exam. You do need to know what regions are. So everything that we're about to learn about the global infrastructure, you need to know. Regions, these are physical locations around the world where we cluster data centers. Make sure you're throwing that into your brain. These are clusters of data centers. When you say clusters, that means there are multiple ones. So different places around the world, there are clusters of data centers. There are currently 24 geographic regions in AWS. This was last year. Let me check to see if there are any new ones. They move so fast, I don't know if there are any new ones. So let's see, google.com. How many AWS regions? Not regions. Yeah, let's see regions. 24. So there's still 24. So we're still, our data is still up to date, and they will ask you, they generally won't ask you how many geographic regions there are, but you need to know the concepts of regions and availability zones. Now, where are those regions? Let's take a look at where those regions are. So when you log in, this is something that's going to mess you up. You are going to hit this problem. Normally, it logs you into the same region. It doesn't always, for some reason, especially if you log in a different browser, different computer. But right now, I am logged into the Northern Virginia region. This region is called US East 1. It's known as US East 1. Northern Virginia. This is located in the, if you're familiar with the area, it's located kind of in Ashburn, all around there, but there are clusters of data centers in Virginia. There are clusters of data centers there. This was the very first region, and it actually houses a significant number of their original infrastructure. Like, I think most of S3 is there and all kinds of stuff, but it's a massive region. It's probably the most overpopulated region as well. It's where people put a lot of stuff. But US East 1, very first one. There's also a US East 2, and it's in Ohio. They'll generally give you a good reference location. So in each of these places, there are clusters of data centers. There are more than one. If you're like, hey, what in the world is a data center? Well, a data center is it's a building, it's a structure, it's a location that has been built and designed to run servers, to run lots and lots of machines. It's got really great security. It's got great physical security. It's got great all kinds of security. The security is great. It's just internally designed to have good airflow and everything so that the servers can be powered. It's got a lot of power running to it. It's got gigantic data pipes running to it because they're pushing tons of traffic. And so they're strategically located around the world. And so let's take a look at one. I've worked in data centers before. A few of them actually. There's way more data centers than you know. But they look like internally. They do look like they actually look like this. There are servers and wires everywhere. Um, there's these racks where servers go. They're very loud. They might have a false floor to make sure they can get airflow through the bottom. They're pretty state of the art, to be 100% honest. And they have there's tons of these. They're big buildings. These are not small houses. They're gigantic. And let me see if I can type in like AWS data center. Maybe they'll show me, let's say AWS data center outside or something. Show you like aerial views and stuff, but they're big buildings. They're really big buildings. But yeah, they definitely boring from the outside, but they are pretty, they're state of the art. It's pretty impressive. Like Microsoft put one in the ocean to test out some stuff. So like, yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. And having worked in them, as a concentration camp for computers, I've never heard it described that way. You are right. That's exactly what it is. It really is a concentration camp for computers. But they're all around the world, and there are multiple ones in each of these regions. Okay, and so I was showing you the different regions. So we got Northern Virginia, we got Ohio. So we have US East 1, US East 2. We have US West 1 and US West 2. So Northern California and Oregon, so different places. We got Africa, Cape Town. That one might be, well, I don't think it's new, but I don't think I've ever seen that one. Got, it's a bunch in Asia, Singapore, Mumbai, a bunch of different places, Canada, bunch of different places in Europe. So EU, West 1, Central. We got one in Bahrain. And we have one in South America, and they are growing. They're still growing. I think they have intentions to make more, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they're geographically separated in different places. So it's really important to understand that that the region that they're talking about are these things: US East 1, US West 1, all that other stuff, and that there are clusters of data centers there. Very, very important. All right, so there are 24 of them. So how do we choose a region? If you are making an application, you're choosing a service. How do you choose a region? Well, the way that you would choose a region is latency or proximity. So I would probably, you would want to run the services geographically closest to the users, most likely geographically closest to the users that are going to be accessing the system. So if, let's say I was running, for some reason, I was running a Cricket website, the running them on US servers is probably not the place to do it, because the US doesn't really watch Cricket. So you might want to put it where people need it, or if you're going to just be running them for workloads and stuff, you want to put them geographically closest to you, because they likely will have the least amount of latency. Latency is the time it takes from when you make that request to when it reaches the server for processing, and how long it takes for that data to travel in between you and those systems. The amount of the services. So this is a very important thing about AWS. All of the services are not available in all of the regions. Okay. That is a very, it's always interesting, because since I live so close to US East 1, pretty much everything is available in US East 1. I never run into this problem, but people do run into this problem when they try to put things geographically closest to them, that every service is not available in every region. But almost like most of the main services are. This generally nowadays applies to very specific things, but yeah. Why are some services not available in some regions? Same thing with Azure. I think this happens for a couple of reasons. I think and this is just my thoughts on this. I don't know for sure what the reasons are, but I think one of the biggest reasons is that it would be all with 200 services. Some of your services are utilized way more heavily than others, and so I think that they want you to stay with their platform, and that's the reason why they keep making services. They want you to have everything that you need in one place, so that you don't have to go anywhere else for it. And so I think sometimes when they make services, they have they have fairly niche markets, and they're not made for everyone to utilize, and so it will be costly to put them in all of the different places around the world. And so they become selective about where they put them, both for money. They probably take a lot of different things into account, like where the people who they believe are going to be using it are located. But I'm sure it's a money thing. Just a money thing. There's probably also things that have to do with sovereignty, and like what you're allowed to do legally. So probably some of that stuff as well. US East 1 has more outages, or definitely did years ago. Yeah, I mean, it probably has statistically the most outages because it's probably statistically the most used by a substantial amount. So yeah, 100%. So instead of GoDaddy, Route 53 is a DNS service that replaces that. Yeah, so you can use GoDaddy has their own DNS service. Route 53 is Amazon's DNS offering. It's super DNS though. It has a lot more features than GoDaddy for sure. It's got some really interesting things that we're going to learn about. But yeah, you can use it in place of GoDaddy's. But yeah, yes, it's most likely a business decision to why some services are not available in every region. Yeah, yes, exactly. Some of them are pushing massive loads and like may physically not be able to be supported in other places. Like when I started to learn about the type of data that's being pushed through Amazon's data centers, it is ridiculous. And the cost to get data pipes run to these places, it's out of control. It really is out of it's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy. Like it's a wild thing for sure. GovCloud may not be available everywhere. It's not available everywhere. It's definitely not available everywhere. Yeah, like the seriously, the scale of this, especially the big three, but Amazon in particular, it's overwhelming. It's actually kind of hard to fathom like how it's here. But also I put that at the bottom. So data laws and requirements might be how you choose where your stuff is. So if you are building, if you're working for a government contractor and you are building a solution for the United States government, you can't save your data over on EU soil. Like you can't save them over in those data centers. That data has to stay here in the United States. So that might be another thing that goes into what region you choose. Okay. So regions, geographic locations around the world. There are 24 of them where they house clusters of data centers. Now, this is the other part of that global infrastructure. These are two of the most important concepts that they will ask you about on the exams. Regions is the one thing. Availability zones are something different, okay? And I had a lot of trouble when I first started about mixing them up for sure. But an availability zone or an AZ, you will hear them referred to as an AZ very, very often. It's one or more discrete data centers with redundant power, networking, and connectivity inside of an AWS region. Remember, we talked about an AWS region having clusters of data centers. For right now, just think of an availability zone as one of those, as one of the data centers in those clusters, okay? So a region has multiple availability zones. So regions are what hold availability zones, okay? And generally there are, what are there? I think they're between 2 and 4 in each region. I don't know, maybe I didn't check. There used to be 3 only, but I think that's changed. I need to check, we can check in a second. But there are currently 76 availability zones. And so now that will show you, hey, okay, if there are 24 regions, if there were 25 and there were 3 inside of them, that'd be 75. So obviously some of them have more than 3, but I think they're between 77 now. Interesting. So I think there are between 2. I think there's some that have 2. I think there's some that have 4, I think, but again, I'll check on that. But these are redundant data centers. They're redundant. They add redundancy for these things. That's why there are multiple data centers within these regions. Why? Because if at the scale in which they work, if someone goes and blows up a data center, or a data center somehow catches on fire and fails and something crazy, there are places that can keep things up and running. Things are copied around to these different availability zones. Amazon copies your stuff around and makes redundant backups and all kinds of stuff, so that and gives you access to these things so that you can plan for some catastrophic emergencies and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like they're like backup sites for each other. Yeah, but don't think about one as like a backup site. They are all operational data centers that are serving data at all times, but they're all being used as backups for each other. That's what we're gonna talk about that. Maybe an electric power grid analogy with substations. Yeah, very much like that. And like load balancing. Yeah, it's like load balancing for sure. And so again, right here, a region contains availability zones, and a lot of times there are 3 availability zones. There's an A, a B, and a C. And yeah, they because their networks so close together, the speeds in which they can transfer data amongst each other is astronomical. It's so fast. It's pretty ridiculous actually. But they all work together in conjunction to have some redundancy, like almost like a global RAID array, like almost like a RAID array. If you know what RAID arrays are for disks, it's kind of like that for sure. We build all of our infrastructure once a quarter in East. We keep everything in West. I like that. Yeah, disaster recovery is pretty important. That's pretty cool. All right, so regions, the global locations, 24 of them. They have clusters of data centers. Availability zones are those redundant data centers that are each node in that cluster basically is the availability zone for right here. Do software defined data centers fit here? No, not here. Those will fall elsewhere in this course. Or what people are talking about when they talk about software defined data centers. This is not this. These are physical, tangible data centers that are buildings and they exist. All right. More about the global infrastructure. Edge locations. I told you a little bit about this a second ago. Edge locations and CloudFront. So this is edge locations are these mini data location areas around the world that Amazon can serve data from. They're not regions, but they're designed to be places that are geographically close to people. And this is how CloudFront works. So remember I told you, let's see if my drawing's still up. let me see if I can go back one and get rid of this. So CloudFront, this right here, it is a content delivery network. The way that this works, let me draw you a world, all right? Let's draw a circle. Nope, I didn't like that. It's supposed to turn into a real circle for me. There we go, a circle. And yesterday I tried to draw, this is terrible, but whatever. This is a fake world. We're just drawing the Earth, all right? And there's, all right, this is the Earth right here. All around the world, there are these locations, all right? They got little external locations all around the world. Everywhere. Okay. Now, the green is going to be my server. So let's say my site, the data lives right here. Okay. That is where my server lives. It's an S3 bucket for me, but that is where it is alive at. What a content delivery network does, and what these edge locations are, is a content delivery network says, cool, here's what I'm gonna do. If everyone in the world right now tried to access my site, it will put extreme load onto this system. Like if everyone was trying to make requests to this right now, because I'm famous, it would be very taxing and it would be tough for me to manage that. So instead what happens is, what a CDN does is, it is this, I don't even want to present it to you. It's not a device. it's software. But what it does is it says, cool, I will be the entryway into your system. So now there's this, imagine like a little shield around everything. And so what happens is, all these edge locations that are all around the world, if you live, black dot's not gonna work. How can I change the color? Let's go purple. Now let's go brown. All right, let's say you live here. And maybe somebody lives here. Maybe somebody lives here. When you make a request to my website, instead of coming to my server, it's gonna hit a CDN. And let's just put the CDN right in the middle of the world just to show you. And what it'll do is my CDN will say, hey, I know that this person just requested access to this data. I don't know what that data is, so I'm gonna go grab it. I'm gonna go be the middleman. I'm gonna go grab it for them. And it's gonna go here. It's gonna grab the data, and then it's gonna save it. It's gonna say, cool, I know what it is. I know what this thing is now. I have a copy of this thing. And so it'll serve it, it'll push it out. Once it gets a copy of this data, because you requested it, your request is actually going through. Let's say this is you right here. Your request is going to this location right here. It's going to this little edge server right here. The edge server is getting its data from here. And now the data will be saved here. It'll save to that edge location. Now, everybody who is geographically closest to this edge location, whenever they request my site, the data is saved right here on this edge location, and they will always receive data from there until it is something called the time to live is up. And this will happen all around the world. So the first request, the very first request to my site, if it's behind the CDN, will it will actually make a request to my server. The very first request from an edge location will actually go and get the real data. Every subsequent request after that will now receive cache content. So Amazon's edge locations will now take care of that work for you. And they have these like worker nodes all around the world. They have these edge locations all around the world that are geographically close to people. So yes, they only have 24 data centers around the world. They have areas. They have systems that are geographically closer to you, that are caching data and that are serving you data so that you can get it faster. And it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting network of things. We'll dive deeper into that. It's a very light introduction into what a content delivery network is. It's kind of like a load balancer, only in that it's handling things geographically. But it's not distributing load anywhere. It's distributing load to the places that are geographically closest to you. And it's pretty interesting. How do CDNs not go offline? I have no idea. I don't know. I really want to dive into, I really want to like go work at one of these companies for a little while to kind of understand the scale. It's pretty out of control, to be honest. How does the CDN node decide what to cache or what not to? Does it cache everything? You tell it what to cache. You tell it explicitly. By default, it'll cache everything, but you can tell it what files to cache. You can say, hey, I want you to cache all of my JavaScript files, but none of my CSS files. Or I can be very specific about what I want it to cache. But yeah, it'll, you set up where it should look for data when someone requests your site, and then you tell it what to cache and for how long. So if you're worried about like, hey, well, if I make an update to my site, aren't people going to get the old version of my site? Yeah. And so you have to do, there's something called invalidation. So you can either set it automatically to say, hey, after something has been alive for, 3 days, go ahead and expire that. And then someone will make a new request. It'll get a fresh batch and that'll stay alive for a while. So that's how you would do that. It's pretty interesting. It's part of AWS's global infrastructure, these edge locations, not necessarily CloudFront, but these edge locations are part of their global way of serving things to you. Do you configure something like that, or do you write code? So you can do it either way. You have the choice. So I can show you what a configuration looks like. Let's go to my CloudFront. And let's see. Wait, what is this? Oh, am I in the wrong or what? Hold on. Account. Do I have different accounts? Did I set up a second account? Oh, this is good. Hold on. Sign. I accidentally set up a different account. Hold on. This seems problematic, actually. Yeah, I'm in a different account. I need to log into another account. I can show you what it looks like. but it has a couple different pieces. It has something called origins, so you give it a place to go get data from. It has cache behaviors, so you can set up. So I can set it up for like maybe mastermind.io. Maybe I want to cache that, but maybe I have another page. Maybe I have like a giveaways page that I don't want them to cache, and so /giveaways. Maybe it's at a whole different place, and so I can have an origin that points it to a new place, and I can not cache that if I want. But it's pretty interesting how you can do it. But I'll log into my main account and show you guys some stuff at the end of this, because we are making pretty good time. All right. All right, let's take a quick break here. Ask your questions. We're gonna run through IAM pretty quickly, even though this is really important. And then we're gonna set up our AWS CLI. I think we can do it. I think we can get through IAM in 30 minutes, and then we'll finish it off with the CLI stuff, and we'll be done. Yes, Cloudflare is the same as CloudFront. Cloudflare is a content delivery network. Yes. They work differently. I mean, there's different options between them, but yes, they're both CDNs. If you ever work with like Akamai and stuff as well, there's a couple different CDN services out there. So it's not the only thing, but they are both the same class of system. They're both used to do the same thing. CloudWatch is for monitoring and logging and like understanding what's going on with your services. So it's for you to watch your cloud. It's for you to get some insights onto what's going on with your cloud services, specifically around EC2. But yeah, actually, well, no, it's not specifically around EC2, but that's a big focus of it. You can all the logging and everything you can set up through CloudWatch. All right. IAM is kind of boring. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's a little bit boring, but it's really important. You can get a role. There are roles specifically handling this, specifically handling identity and access management. All right. Yeah, now my fries, they're here. I'm gonna eat them afterwards. I want to enjoy the whole meal, and it's gonna be pretty good. Present. Let's share. Change. Anyone with a link? Copy link. Make sure you get this. Okay. I told you today was going to be packed with a lot of information, and it is. So, I mean, hey, I can't guarantee I'll never eat while I'm on air, but I more so just want to, they're also kind of cold now. That was my mistake. Thank you so much, Fruit, for the bit. I do appreciate it. I love it. All right. Identity, access, and responsibility. Okay, yeah, the shared responsibility models in here. That's part of identity and access and security a little bit as well. But whose job is it anyway? This part is very important. Get your pens, get your papers, take some notes on this piece for sure. I personally, if you're watching right now and you're like, man, this is a lot of stuff, especially when we're going through this. To me, I find stuff like this to be more of a cognitive load on my learning than the actual learning the individual services hands-on. We're gonna get a little hands-on here, but I find that understanding the way these things work conceptually is a little more of a cognitive load. So I don't let this deter you if you're like, this seems like a lot already. It is a lot, but I think it gets better, especially next week. I think next week is going to be probably one of the more fun weeks. I love getting into EC2 because there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with it, and a lot of stuff you can do now. But the stuff that we're learning right now, you can't really do much with it. Like, you can't get quick feedback on a lot of it because it's it's things that support other things. So the shared responsibility model. All right, we're in this together, partner. Okay. Security and compliance are extremely important. We've seen all kinds of security breaches and stuff in the past few weeks. So it's been pretty crazy. We all know that security and compliance is very, very important. It's up to both you and AWS to ensure that these standards are upheld. All right. So this, the shared responsibility model that we're about to learn about is what what guides what you're responsible for and what they're responsible for, and whose duty it is to keep people safe and to keep each other safe, and where those lines are written in the sand. All right. So what is AWS responsible for? Well, AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud. All right, it's gonna make a little more sense when we get a little farther in, but think about the facilities that they run. So those data centers that we were talking about, they're keeping those secure. People aren't getting into those, and they're making sure fires can't happen, and no floods and all that other stuff. They're taking care of the security of the facilities. They're taking care of the security of the software, the hardware, and the networks that make up the global infrastructure. Okay, so all of these things that are around that make up that global infrastructure, they are keeping those things safe. The software that supports it, the hardware that supports it, they are keeping those things physically safe and digitally safe as well. All right. So that means, what are you responsible for? Well, you're responsible for security in the cloud. So they're keeping the cloud itself secure. You are keeping what you do inside of the cloud secure. So think operating system, think applications, software, access, and networks that are used by your services. So the people who are using it, who you're allowing to use it, who you're giving access to, who you're creating accounts for, your software itself. Are you deploying software that is known to have bugs and things like that? It is your job to keep what goes on in the cloud safe. All right, that's your job. This gift will always be funny. This is what they were doing at the Capitol, guaranteed 100%. All right, so this is a little slide that can kind of help you out a little bit. First time I looked at this, I found it to not work for the way that my brain thinks, but it does help. So let's see if we can do this here. Wait, why didn't it do it? Oh yeah, take a screenshot. Actually, I don't think I need to draw anything on here. But yeah, you're responsible for all the stuff inside of it. So your own data, encryption on the file system and things like that, networking and traffic that's coming from where you are doing things, making sure firewalls and configurations are proper, and all of your data and stuff is what they'll do. But they handle, so when AWS talks about software, they are talking about the software that supports these things, the underlying software that allows you to be able to retrieve and use these things. So don't get it confused with the software that you're deploying these things. And they're also keeping their global infrastructure intact. So yeah, too soon. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, so they have the security of the cloud. You are responsible for the security in the cloud. They will help you out with this too. So there are tools. Support will actually help you out with a lot of things if you have questions. But there's some cool ways to make your stuff secure. All right, the first line of defense anyone has, honestly, this is the most important service. I think this is the most important service inside of AWS. Like I said, you can get jobs purely doing identity and access management. It doesn't always mean it's going to be with AWS, but identity and access management is a big thing. What in the world is identity and access management? Well, it is a IAM. It allows the who, the what, and the how services are accessed and what can interact in an AWS account. So it controls all that. It controls who can access AWS and the resource. It controls how they can access it. And what I mean when I say how, I mean I can determine whether or not they can log in through the console. I can determine whether or not they can access through programmatic means, like I said, through code and stuff like that. I can choose or block or deny either one of those options, and I can choose how they're what they're able to access. Like you can get completely granular with it. I can say, hey, Timmy can only access this one service. I can allow you into my AWS account and you have access to a single thing, and for you to only be able to do a single thing in a single service. Each one of the services has a bunch of things that you can do, a bunch of actions you can take, and you can lock people down to doing one thing if you want, or a subset of things. You can manage groups of people that way. So it gets really granular, and it can be very confusing to keep up with. It's a big thing. Writing policies and stuff is a big thing. So yeah, this is exactly what it sounds like. It is who can access what and what can they do when they do have access to it, or lack thereof. So that's how you manage all of it. So it's pretty interesting. So there are some pieces to it. The first one is IAM user. So I'm gonna go into IAM in a second, but the first one is a user. And so this is a name and credentials used to provide a user with access to AWS accounts and resources in the console and or programmatically. So a user, just like any other system you know about, IAM users are individual. They're a name and credentials. And the reason why we're not saying it's a person, because you can make users for machines, you can make users for whatever you want to make users for, but a user is simply a name and credentials. Those credentials are, let me see if I put those in here. Okay, I did put it in here. So users can authenticate with AWS in 3 different ways. Here are 2 of them. One is through the console. So if I'm an IAM user, so some of you asked, is that, hey, do you want to log in as the root user or an IAM user? And you could have chosen IAM user if you have one, and you can log in via username and password. Pretty simple. MFA is optional, but recommended. So MFA is multi-factor authentication. This is, you've probably done this with some service at this point in your life, where they will add another token besides your password used to authenticate. There's a number of options. You can use virtual tokens, so you can use things like Authy or Google Authenticator to grab an actual number token, or they'll send it to your email. You can use hardware tokens like PIV cards, or you can use like YubiKeys and stuff. They're really cool. I used the YubiKey for a long time, and I really loved it. It's pretty darn dope. The other way that you can access, is programmatically through AWS keys. It's through AWS keys. And so keys are like, if you're familiar with SSH keys, it's a similar concept. There are two keys you are given. You are given what's called an AWS access key, and you were given an AWS secret key. We'll take a look at what those look like in a little bit. And these allow you to access AWS programmatically. I said there were 3, and then I gave you 2 of them. The other way is through roles, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Can you set an expiration date for keys? Yes, you can. You can set expiration date for keys, for passwords, all that stuff to rotate them out. So that is what you can do. All right. So that's a user. Groups are simply a collection of users. All right, and it makes it for management easier. So think like if you were, let's say you're working for a company, y'all are moving to the cloud, your company of 100 people, and you have 10 developers, you have 5 marketing people, you have different people who need to access different services. Generally with the cloud, generally with AWS, you want to operate on something called the rule of least privilege. All right, definitely write that down. The rule of least privilege. This means only give people or systems or anything, only give it access to what it needs access to, and only that stuff. And if it needs access to more, then cool, then you add access to just the things that it needs access to. And so this can get really tough to do if you had a bunch of different people and you're dealing with them individually. But if I've got 10 developers, I can make a developer group, add a bunch of people to that group, and I can set up all of the rules and apply it to that group, and it will work for all the people. And it just makes it easier to handle collections of people. So that's all a group is, and IAM does have groups. Now, IAM roles. This is a big one. This is this is very Active Directory. This 100%, 1000% very Active Directory worthy. They're perfect parallels. IAM roles. IAM roles an IAM entity that defines a set of permissions. All right. So it's a construct in Identity and Access Manager, and it defines a set of permissions for making AWS service requests. IAM roles are not associated with a specific user or group. Instead, trusted entities assume roles such as IAM users, applications, or AWS instances such as EC2. So you must assume a role. A role does not get assigned to you. You don't need to worry about that right now. We will dive deeper into assuming roles. There's a lot of caveats around this. There's a lot of deeper information around this. Tonight is just an intro to IAM. They're not going to ask you any crazy questions about that. They might ask you about users, groups, and roles, but you cannot assign a role to a user. All right, they must assume the role, and they must be given permission to assume the role. IAM permissions let you specify access to AWS resources. By default, resources have no permissions. Okay, so these permissions will be applied to policies and stuff. You can apply these permissions to users and things like that, but the permissions are the actual ability for you to do anything, because by default you can't do anything. There's no permissions for resources or you to do really anything, and you must be explicitly given permission to do things. Policies are entities that are attached, that when attached to an identity or resource defines the permissions. So a policy is basically a bunch of permissions, to be honest, that you can attach to things. So permission is the rule itself. A policy is a collection of those rules that you can attach to things. And we'll go over programmatic access a little bit. So we got users, groups, roles, permissions, and policies. These are things I'm going to provide resources for, so you can dive deeper into them on your own. Something that you can ask questions about at another time, but we will dive deeper into these things as well. Let's hop into the dashboard so we can take a look at that a little bit. And so IAM is a service. Everything in AWS is in fact a service. So you simply need to go type it in right up top, and we can now get what we need. So IAM right here. Is Docker needed for cloud computing by chance? No. Nope, not at all. You can run Docker in the cloud. Docker runs in the cloud. Containers can be run in the cloud, 100%. You don't need Docker for it though. And here is your very first foray into, this is your first foray into an AWS service. And look at this, like this doesn't look good. Like this doesn't really look particularly good. Yeah, it doesn't look particularly good. Feeling kind of lost? It's completely okay. Like I said, this is an intro to identity and access management. We'll dive deeper into it. If you have specifics about what you're lost about, feel free to ask some questions, but I'm about to get hands-on with some of this stuff too. So users, I think we all understand what users are. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add a user. All right, so just like creating an account for anything, a IAM user is just that. So I'm gonna call it, I'll call it Horizons test user, or just Horizons test. All right. And remember, IAM, Identity and Access Management, we can define the who can access things. We can define what they can access, but we can also define how they can access things. This is the how right here. All right. This is the how. I can either access programmatically, or I can access via console, or I can do both. Remember, this is the console. We haven't seen anything. You haven't learned about programmatic access yet, like seeing how you do it. But I'm gonna give this test user the how is gonna be that they can access both programmatically and through the console. They are shared throughout AWS. What do you mean? What do you mean, Polar Dreams? What's shared throughout AWS? Why does this keep coming loose? They are shared. They are shared amongst your account, and possibly your organization, but they're shared amongst your account. So I have another account, and it doesn't have any, like, none of my users are associated with this. It is specifically associated with your account. So you can create if you have a different account, you can create the exact same user in that account. if you want. They're not shared throughout the entirety of AWS, but they are shared through the entirety of AWS services in your account for sure. All right, so I'm gonna get programmatic access, which is gonna give me an access key and a secret key, and console access is gonna give me a password. I'm gonna have it, nah, man, I don't trust y'all. Well, I mean, you won't have any access to do anything yet, but and this is not the master account, which is good. That's why I created this account, in case any of you tried to get into my account, you wouldn't be able to do very much. That's why I'm not in my main account. But I'll have it auto-generate a password for me. It'll probably email it to me, or it'll give it to me on the screen. I don't actually really know, because I don't create accounts by hand personally in the console, but let's see. So I'll have it auto-generate one for me. Require password reset, must change the password next sign in. Sure, I will do that. What's up, Carabina? How are you doing tonight? All right, so now that my user is, my details for my user are set up, I'm gonna go ahead and now go to my permissions. Andy Panda, thank you so much for the follow. Good to have you. What's up? Pel Gores, how you doing? It's good to have you. Please don't show any password in chat. Yes, no one put your password in chat for one. I'm gonna do everything in my power not to to show this password here. I will, I'll stop showing my screen or something. Not a big deal. You guys know what a password is. I don't need to show that to you. I am going to show you what an AWS access key, and secret key look like, but I'm not going to show you mine at all. Yes, Hunter 2, 100%. Hunter 2. That's whatever. That's what I should make my password for sure. All right, so here's where by default, AWS resources, your user is a resource. Everything you create in AWS is a resource, including your user. That's why those slides might have been confusing a little bit, because it talked about resources. Everything in Amazon is a resource. It also gets a unique identifier called an ARN, an Amazon resource name. That's for later, but I want to give you that a little bit here. But now you can give some access. You can make some permissions for this person. So if I already had some groups created, I could add them to a group, or I could create a group to start working with, or I could copy permissions from another user if I had more users, but I don't, or I could attach existing policies directly. So there are a number of policies that are available by default, that like pre-managed, AWS managed policies. So here's what I'm going to do. Just in case so there's an administrator access one at the very top. I don't want, I don't like that. I don't want to make that. I don't want to make this user have that, because you all might, I don't know how fast, you might steal my data. You might steal my password real quick, and then you may be able to do something crazy with it. But what I will do is EC2 full access. Why will I do EC2 full access? This has a bunch of policies attached to it, a bunch of permissions. This is where things get confusing. There is a visual policy builder, okay? There's a visual policy builder where you can go through and click the things that you want. But this is remember I told you earlier that Amazon is basically a giant API, the whole thing, one giant API. So a lot of things are done through JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's really annoying. So it's not annoying, it's really nice, especially for programmatic things, but for your eyes and the way that we work, you probably won't like it very much, to be honest with you. But here's what EC2 full access does. It gives me access to do everything with CloudWatch, full access to CloudWatch and all the different things that are inside of it. EC2 auto scaling, ELB. These are all things that kind of go along with EC2. Don't sweat it right now. You don't know all these tools yet. That's not a big deal. But I do want to show you the JSON document, because there's going to become a time when you are writing these policies by hand. And this is kind of what they look like. What the thing that you have access to, what you can do there. Right now, this is, you have access to everything, but sometimes you can pick specific things, which you can't see here. Yeah, so like, these are kind of the actions you can perform against it. For EC2, if I show this one, I could describe it, which means I could see it. You don't like, I'll show you what these actions mean, but you can be very granular about what to do here. And it's like I said, and on first glance, it's super hard to understand. But right now I'm just gonna give myself a basic policy, which is EC2 full access, because even if you steal it, you can spin up a giant EC2 instance for me, but then I can shut it down and it'll be fine. It'll definitely be fine. Don't worry, Twitch hides passwords. I'm glad you put joking there at the end, because I'm sure people were gonna mess that up. People do that every single time. Did it work? I love it. Why couldn't we just have a YAML? Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. I'm with you on the YAML, because systems like JSON for sure. All right, so I'm gonna next add tags. You don't need to add tags. We'll talk about tags a lot, but for right now, tags are just metadata. That's why they're optional. It's metadata to help you identify stuff, to help you identify resources. So if I wanted to be able to find this programmatically, maybe I could say, this user is a account user or something like that. I can give it a value or something. I don't know. You can. It's just metadata. It's little bits of data that describe real data, I guess. But it's optional, so I'm not gonna do anything. Review. It'll give you an overview of what it is, and I can create my user. All right. So I've created my first AWS IAM user, okay, which is Horizons Test. You can see most of my access key ID. You can see all of my access key ID. That's fine, because you won't know what to do without my secret key. It won't allow you to do anything without my secret key. And I'm gonna delete this test user immediately anyway. But I can also send myself an email with my login instructions, but I can also get my password as well. I'm not gonna look at that. I downloaded the CSV. The CSV has all that data in there as well. So now I have a user. Okay, so I'm gonna close this. If you were to just go into IAM, now that I have a user, it says, hey, you got a user, 2 roles, because I just created all those things through there, and I can click and you can see that I've never logged in, never had any activity. I don't have MFA enabled. My password age is today. So you can set policies, say, hey, once your password gets over 90 days, if you don't rotate it out, you can't log in. Or same thing with your access keys. It'll start to give you little icons. See, it'll give you those little exclamation points and stuff when you start to get a little bit crazy. But yeah, there we go. JSON and YAML are 2 sides of the same slice of toast. Absolutely. What's JSON, a superset of YAML? Or YAML's a superset of JSON. Is it useful to set permission boundaries on the user that are identical to the permissions? Useful to set permission boundaries on a user. I'm not sure I understand that question. What's up, WearTag? How are you doing? What's up, Leno? 474747. Welcome to the channel. What's up, Muhammad Carpet Bomber? Welcome to the channel. What's up? That's everybody. Welcome. Good to have you all. You mind asking that maybe in a different way? I'm not sure I understand that question. Okay, so now that I have a user, I am going to show you access keys for 2 seconds, but not yet. Only when we're ready to do it. This is a very light intro. Not only can you set these policies and things for users, you can also set policies and attach them to roles for AWS resources. So let's say that I have a server, just a generic server in AWS. It runs through the EC2 service. It's an EC2 instance. If I wanted my EC2 instance to be able to access another AWS resource like S3, I would have to create a policy and attach that to a role. I would then have to take that role and assign the role to my EC2 instance. I'd have to put a role on my EC2 instance that says, hey, you are allowed to make these kind of requests to S3. So permissions in AWS is really annoying. It is very frustrating. It's funny because I feel like it's one of those things that is so convoluted. It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's great. You need to have this kind of granularity, but it's also what makes people lazy, which ultimately makes people make terrible security mistakes, to be honest. So, that's how it is. Hashtag Friday. what's up, man? Thank you so much for showing me more love, gifting the sub. You know, one day we're gonna get back to we'll play some Warzone games one day. I'm sorry, but I appreciate it. Appreciate the love for sure. All right. You can set permission boundaries to limit maximum permissions a user under you have. You can set the maximum permissions identical to the current permissions. I don't know. I don't know if there's a reason to do this. Not that I can think of. I can't think of a reason to do it. I don't know. Cool. So you can create a bunch of users if you want, if you'd like. Users don't cost you anything. So we will start talking about costs as well. Users do not cost you a thing. You can create as many users as you would like. Just be careful with it. So now this Horizons test user, I could use it to log into the console, but what we care about is programmatic access. And let's get set up. Perfect. We got 20 minutes left. This is excellent. Now we got programmatic access to AWS. So there are two ways to programmatically access AWS. One is through the AWS CLI. This is the way that I like to interact with it the most. Limit the permissions a user can ever have. I would probably. I'm trying to think of how with a better way to do that. Like that's a very interesting one. So that like no one else could add any anything. So I think you'd have to like cascade that a bit. I think you'd have to hide that behind like you'd have to have like a god level user, like an account level root user, but everything else is set by a user with less power who can change, who doesn't have access to change like certain IAM policies. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I'll have to think about that one for sure. Can you access it through Bash? Yes, that's what the AWS CLI is. It is accessing through Bash, or whatever your shell is, Bash or ZSH. Yeah. Cool. So the AWS CLI, you can search for it. It used to be super problematic to install. There is a version 2 now, which is a standalone binary. You used to have to fight with Python to get it installed. Hopefully I don't have to do that. I'm pretty sure it's just a little binary that I can install now. It needs to be pretty problematic, especially for people who are on Mac computers. But let's go ahead and let's get it installed now. Two things. Remember I told you in the beginning that if you wanted to follow along exactly how I'm following along, I am going to be doing everything because Linux is the focus. Linux is life. It's life. Linux is the focus. I'm doing everything. Yes, I'm on a Windows computer. I also do have the Windows subsystem for Linux installed. So I do have Linux installed locally, but I didn't want to overcomplicate things. If you understand how to do that, great. If you are familiar enough with this stuff to where you just want to do it in Windows and you understand the nuances between the commands that I'm running and the commands that you're running, great. Like file paths and stuff like that, great. You can stick with Windows, or you can install WSL2 on your system for sure. If you're on a Mac, you're probably fine. You can probably just do what you need to do. For everyone else, I'm actually going to be operating off of a Linode server that I'm actually still logged into it right now. I didn't know. But there's a link below. Linode is a channel sponsor. You can get 100 credits for free. The server that I run is only $10 a month, so you can go a full 10 months and never pay a dime. And there's no obligation or anything like that, but it's an easy way to kind of copy along with what I do. It's super easy to go set up if you want. Takes literally a couple seconds once you sign up. But I'm using one of those. I'm not going to show you how to connect it up to I'm not going to show you how to connect it to VS Code tonight, but I do have a link for that. Sorry, let me share this with you now. Copy link. But I wrote that's a little guide on connecting up your Linode stuff to VS Code for like a really cool remote dev environment. It makes it pretty easy. But that's what I'll be doing for all the classes. And again, that's that. It's funny because this is not something that they were trying to get me to show you guys like a bunch of Kubernetes stuff, and I was like, this is a little more practical. And like this is what I'm going to be using from now on, like personally, only because one, I have some credits, but also because it's cheap. But two, I work over 3 different computers, and it's like helped me a lot to have that set up. But I got a couple set up here. But all you got to do is like click the create button and create a server for yourself. And so I'm going to be doing everything out of this so that I don't have to, so that I don't have to like worry about cleansing my computer next time we run this, so that stuff's not installed. It just makes it a little bit easier for me. So I'm actually going to make a Linode specifically for this class. I have one for Decoded, and I think I have one for Horizons. So I'm going to make one that's geographically closest to me. We just learned about regions. Linode is another cloud provider. They're definitely smaller than Amazon, but they are a cloud provider as well. So I'm going to essentially rent a server from them for $5 to $10 a month. But I have credits. You have $100 worth of credits if you want it. I'm going to do the $10 one. I'll call this one, so I know what it is. I'll call this one Horizons Sandbox. And I'll give it a password that I like. I'll give it a fair password, because if you hack it, I'll just make a new one, because it ain't that serious. And I'll click create, and it's going to give me, I'll give it a few minutes, and it's going to provision a new server for me. Remember how we talked about before? If I wanted a server before, I'd have to do all that stuff with Dell, HP, and get here, I have to install a bunch of stuff. Now, in just a few minutes, I have one, and then I can log right into it, and I will do that. And then we will get AWS CLI set up. Now, I know that I said there are no prerequisites for this course. There are no prerequisites for this course. The more Linux you know, it will help. So one of the resources that I'm providing to you is some basic Linux command line stuff, like navigation and stuff like that. I highly recommend that you go over it. We're not going to be doing any crazy Linux stuff at all. This is probably going to be the worst of it, because everything else after this, it's Linux in that we're using Linux, but they're AWS CLI specific commands. So it's not really like, it's nothing you could have like really learned before. You'd have been more comfortable, but yeah. Oh, second billing cycle. Oh my gosh. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I completely forgot that was a thing now. I meant after the announcement, I meant to dive into it. Yes, you can. You actually, maybe that's that might be the answer, y'all. So Amazon, this was recently announced this year at AWS reInvent. AWS reInvent is Amazon's, it's AWS's cloud. It's their conference. It's pretty dope. It used to be held out in Vegas. You know, we're talking about 50, 60,000 people. An extravagant conference held over a week. Pretty dope. A lot of good learning that goes on there. A lot of cool people going on, like that go there as well. It's pretty dope. But this year at reInvent, it was 3 weeks and it was online. They released a new service called AWS Cloud Shell. You know what? That's the answer. That's the answer. That's it. Now let me see how it works. Let's see if it's the answer really quick. Cloud Shell is exactly what we were about to set up. Okay, so I want you to, when you get in here, type in Cloud Shell, and it looks like it's going to create an environment for us. What Cloud Shell is it is a shell. It's a shell that allows you to interact with your Amazon resources programmatically for learning, also just kind of as a little environment if you need to use it. So it's spinning up right now. I haven't done anything, so I'm gonna see if it works. But thank you, second billing cycle. I don't know. Let me see. Does it cost anything? It takes about 1 gig a month out. Let me let's look it up really quick. Struggling with setting up WSL2. Do you have any ideas, suggestions, tutorials? I don't know of any specific tutorials. I always use their actual guide, and it made it a little bit easier for me because they just give you two PowerShell commands to do it. But I don't know. I don't know of any, but I can look around for some. But really, it's the first one is enabling the subsystem, and the second one is enabling this virtual machine. It could be. I've seen a lot of people run into that your computer in the BIOS is not does not have virtualization turned on. But yeah, my opinion is make WSL1 instead and follow Microsoft's instructions. WSL2 is more tricky, and you don't need it. That you don't need it is hard for me. The benefits of WSL2 over WSL1 are vast. They're vast. As someone who's a somewhat of a Linux purist who use Linux exclusively, the problems with WSL1 really kept me from switching back to Windows full time. WSL2 absolutely like made it a real thing. But yeah, you could use VirtualBox or something else. I know those are tough, but exactly, everyone's at different levels of their career, their technical prowess. So if you know about those things, you can use anything that helps. You can use anything. You don't have to install Linux, to be honest. The AWS CLI is available for Windows, so you can do that as well. You can grab a Linode server, but I'm just trying to give people the easiest ways to kind of get all caught up. But let's see, how does, bro, why is it giving me this? Come on, Bing. I got to change this right now. Pricing. Let's see. There's no additional charge for AWS Cloud Shell. You only pay for other AWS resources you use with Cloud Shell to create and run your application. So it's free. There are no minimum fees and required. Data transfer is billed as standard. Okay, cool. You're good. I mean, I don't want to use Bing at all. I just am too lazy to change. I don't know where in the settings to change it at. This surface is only used for this stream. So that's the only time I touch it. I never feel like changing it at all. Yes, if you use WSL2 with Ubuntu as the OS, yes, the setup will basically be the same. Correct. Yep, 100%. All right, so interesting enough, I'm going to show you how to set up the AWS CLI, but you can also just use AWS Cloud Shell. Yeah, we'll get it installed so you know how to get it installed, but this is phenomenal. AWS Cloud Shell will now allow me to, oh, this is great, actually. This is phenomenal. Oh, man. Oh, this is, I forgot this was the thing. It's free. It'll allow you to run all the commands that you need. It sounds like you don't need to worry about setting up any credentials, but I do need you to know how to do those things. So let's go do that real quick. I'm going to log into the server that was spun up for me. If you are, if you're running Ubuntu in any way, you can, you should be fine. I'll get logged in. So what I just did, if you did go about the Linode option, once you create the server, it'll give you this little SSH access string right here. Just click the little copy button. That's it. You don't even need you don't need anything installed. SSH is now available on PowerShell or command prompt. I'm using Windows Terminal, but not a big deal. You can just open up like command prompt or something. That's all you got to do, and then just paste that command in. It'll ask you yes or no, type in yes, and then it'll ask you for the password that you created throughout the process, and you can just type it in and you will be in that server. It's pretty easy to log in. So I'm logged in over here on this side. I mean, not sure if you can install the WSL2 without the latest. No, you can install WSL2. No, WSL2 is mainstream. It's mainstream Windows. For sure. So Cloud Shell will charge you if you end up transferring more than 1 gig out a month. Pool with server. Oh, okay. All right. So that makes sense if you are like, if you're transferring a bunch of stuff. We won't be transferring anything, but it is good to know how. You do need to know how to set it up on a computer and like how to authenticate and stuff with it. So we need to do that. So real quick, I'm gonna show you how to set it up for Windows. I think you just click the button. Mac, there might be an installer for Mac, but Mac might make you install the same way. I don't really know. I don't have a Mac. I will once the M1 Macs have, excuse me, once they have Docker support and Go support, I might pick one up, just so I have one for times like this, so I know how to use them properly, and for tutorials. I might do that, but not yet though. I'm still waiting. I might just save up and try to get the 16-inch one so I can actually use this as my portable device. I don't really need a portable device, but it would be nice to have something powerful if I did want to go edit somewhere at a coffee shop or something. But I just have 2 desktops and a little computer. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'm not against them. I think, like, I'm definitely supporting these M1 Macs in some way or another. I love innovation. I love that they took these ARM chips and they went all in, and this ARM architecture, and went all in, and the payoff seems pretty amazing, and I'm hoping it pushes everyone else forward as well. All right, so I'll share this. This is aws.amazon.com/CLI. Yeah, so battery life specifically is why I want one, to be honest. I want the x86 registers. I wouldn't go full ARM just yet. Oh yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. There's too many software inconsistencies already. I'm definitely couldn't be a full switch for me. Probably will never be a full switch. Well, not for a very long time. Probably won't be a full switch. You know, I got my big Ryzen. I got all my cores. You know, I like cores. I got 24 cores and stuff. All that goodness over here. I mean, this computer is not as powerful, but I got it. I got my 3090s. You heard that? I got 2 of them. Okay, I got 2 computers with 3090s in them. Different processors though. I've been having trouble finding 5000 series processors, but they work for me. This is H15 right now. You can use that with 8 cores portable. Is that an ARM device? Windows ARM is doo-doo. It's not very good. I tried it. I originally got instead of the Surface Pro, I originally got the Surface Pro X, because that's an ARM, that's their flagship ARM device. And man, the incompatibilities were very problematic. It was very performant for ARM native applications. Pretty interesting. No, Rosetta 2 does translate x86. It does very well, actually. Oh, okay, the Ryzen 4800. Okay, that's dope. I'll check that out. I'll definitely check that out. All right, here we go. Let's get the AWS CLI set up. So I haven't done this in a long time. So let's click the getting started and see how you do it. Like I said, it should be just a little binary that we download and probably extract and have to run a little script against. It says you can use it with any of these Linux shells. So Bash, ZSH, TCSH. If you're on Mac, you're using ZSH most likely, because that's the default shell there now. Everything else pretty much Bash or Windows command line. Cool. So just giving us information about what we can do. There's version 1 and version 2. Version 2 is what you should install, not version 1, because like I said, it is better because it's a little standalone binary, I'm pretty sure. So you go to the next page and they give you here we go. That's weird. Installing, updating. I don't like, see, this is bad. This is bad UX. Like, this is bad UI. It's bad UX. Bad experience. It took me through like a walkthrough, like giving me information before it took me the installation. Like, it's weird. Super weird to me. But I'll give you this page right here. It always changes. Let's see. Copy. All right, so that's where you can head. Oh wait, it's missing a letter. You gotta, no, it'll do it. Never mind. But I'll give you this little install guide and what you can do. What in the, oh. And what you can do is choose how you want to install it. So you could use Docker if you wanted. I wouldn't suggest it. But let's go with Linux, because I'm gonna be installing on Linux. And it'll tell us how to do it. Give you some important information and stuff. You can kind of skip it right now. It'll give you some prereqs for Linux. about what you need, but you must be able to extract or unzip download packages. I'm going to show you how to do all this, but it's pretty simple. You can go down to the commands they have below, and we can do it. So the first command that they're going to give you, these are Linux commands, but you know, there's no prereqs for this because they give them to you, and I will explain them to you. So the first command you can copy all of it at once if you want, but I'm going to give it to you in pieces so you understand what's happening. I'll do it each individually. The first command is a curl command. All right, curl is a tool to make web requests from a command line. So if you don't understand what a command line is, we actually just went over this yesterday. So when the video from yesterday goes up, you should check it out from Horizons. But the command line is just a way to interact with the computer. It's an interface for the computer, just like you clicking around on the computer. The command line can do the same thing. It can do all the controlling of your computer, but you do it through commands and through text. The curl command, it makes a web request. And what this is going to do is it's going to download a file right here. Yeah, I was interested. I was like, this is not the whole command. Okay, there it goes. I was like, oh man, I didn't copy the whole thing. I was like, this doesn't look right to me at all. So I'm going to paste this. So what it's doing is this is how you download something from the command line. A curl is one of the ways that you can do it. And so what it just did is it downloaded this AWS CLI v2.zip. The same kind of zip file that you're used to downloading. You know, I think we all know what a zip file is. And so it's just it's a archive. It's a packaged up zip file. So it has a bunch of stuff in it. All right, great. Very exciting. We downloaded something from the command line. Now they give you everything. So the next thing we'll do is we will now unzip it. So normally on a computer, you might right click it, click unzip or something like that, or double click it. To unzip it, you just simply say unzip in the file name. So you can just simply copy their commands and paste them on in there. So we're gonna unzip that. Okay, now we run into a problem. Oh, what's the -O option? The -O option is output file. So it allows me to save it to a specific name. So this is the URL it downloaded it from, and it's actually called this. But the output file changed the name of it. It said, hey, go ahead and save it as this. And so the output can also be used to save it to a different directory or something like that as well. It unzip's not installed by default, which seems kind of weird, but it tells you how to install it just like this. So just go ahead and copy it. You can install it with this, copy it, paste it on in there. It's gonna install the unzip command for us. I didn't know. That's interesting. I didn't know unzip didn't come by default. That's very interesting. Very, very, very interesting, actually. We're so close. Yeah, Linux, you know, Linux is where it's at. Linux is my favorite thing. It really is. I have to every month I have to decide not to go full Linux again. Like I almost do it every month. I'm not joking. Is Gunzip available? Does Gunzip, hold on, does Gunzip also just unzip? Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think Gunzip will just automatically unzip. Okay, so now I just ran the unzip command. Can you play Steam and Blizzard games on Linux? This is one of the problems that keeps me from saying Linux. Yes, you can play Steam games. There are a bunch of Steam games. There's also a new, they were limited. Now there's a thing called Proton, which allows you to play most of them, and it's fine. But all your games aren't going to run perfectly, especially the AAA, like the big AAA titles aren't going to run all that well. I had trouble getting like Overwatch running, but you can run them. Steam is there. Steam has a native Linux client, and there are a fair amount of games that run natively on Linux. Doom is one of them. There are some good AAA games that run on Linux, but again, that Proton thing, also like compatibility layer, also helps. There's also Wine, but it is a little bit of a hassle. My biggest problem was content creation. Was the Adobe Creative Suite is the biggest reason why I can't stay full Linux, to be honest. So yeah. All right, so when it downloads all those files, I just unzipped it, and it unzipped it to this folder right here. Okay, this AWS folder is now here. All that data that is just extracted, open it up to that little file right there, or that folder right there. The last thing, you just copy all the commands. You can copy all of it at once. You can just do this and it'll do everything for you. But I want you to see each of those pieces real quick. And the last thing, whoops, that did not copy correctly. And you can do that. And what that's going to do is this is actually running a script, an install script that exists within this directory. Yeah, sudo running as root. I just copied and pasted. Dumb. But it installed what it was supposed to install. And now if I type in AWS, it works. You might look and say, oh, well, that doesn't look like it worked. If I did not install it properly, if you don't install it properly and you type in AWS, it will say command not found. But the command is found. It's just saying that you didn't give it enough information to do anything properly. So now that I have the AWS command line interface, I have to configure it still. So right now it works. If I tried to make a request to AWS, I'm going to get an error. It's going to give me a quick little error here. It says unable to locate credentials. You can configure credentials by running AWS configure. Okay. So yes, Purple Ultralist. Yes, I installed the AWS CLI onto my Linode server. Now, again, you do not. I'm showing you how to do this, and I'm showing you how you can set this up. You don't need to do this because I had completely forgot about the Cloud Shell. AWS Cloud Shell is something that you can use to learn the commands and stuff that we do. You don't actually have to set this up, but Cloud Shell is just a service that they have. It's brand new. They just announced it in December, and you can utilize that to do your AWS commands. But I do want you to understand how to set this up because they'll probably ask you a question about it. You don't have to set it up on the test. The exams are multiple choice, but I want you to have seen how someone does this, how you do this. Now that it's set up, the way that you can configure this is you can set up your credentials is through AWS configure. All right. And then it will walk you through a configuration. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to learn like 9 different things about AWS configuration throughout the course. Like it's a bunch of different things. But the simplest one is I can do an AWS configure and it will walk me through a configuration. So it's asking me for an AWS access key ID. And remember, that's what we got when we created our user. And I did actually download the CSV with that information. So I'm going to show it to you for a couple seconds just to set it up, and then I'm going to delete this user. This user doesn't have really anything. I can also delete this entire account from the main account, so you can't really do anything. You could try if you wanted to, but please don't. I don't really want to deal with this. I'm also about to delete this user, but you take that secret access key and you paste it on in there. The secret access key is on its own not a big problem, okay? It's not a big problem that you can see this. So I'm going to paste this in. All right. Oh, did I? Oh, I sure did. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, that didn't look like one. Yep, I grabbed the password, not the access key. I'll grab the access key real quick. Appreciate that. Let's exit this command, run it again. All right, and then it asks for the secret key. So I'm gonna paste this in here as well. You can see it. I could take it off screen, not a big deal, but we'll be all right. We'll survive it. You paste it on in there and set the default region name. So I'm going to set it to US East 1 because US East 1 is closest to me. You don't actually have to set a default region, I don't think, but then the commands that you run will ask you for a region. Default output none, and now it's set up. So now if I do an AWS, like if I run the same command, I don't have any buckets or anything like that. But I can't do that. Why can't I do that? Because we only gave our access to EC2. Okay. So before it said, hey, there's no credentials. Now it says access is denied. So it actually authenticated, but I'm not authorized to make that request. But if I do an AWS EC2 describe, it will, EC2, wait. Oh, describe instances. I don't have any, but the command is going to show. I could do an STS, so I actually get a JSON response back. I actually got something back. If I actually had resources, it would give me information about all those things, and I could run a bunch of different commands. There are you can control every AWS service and all the different pieces of it through the AWS CLI. It takes a long time to learn all the different things you can do. It dropped all, these are all commands that I could have given just to like these are all the commands I could do. I could create a tag, I could delete a customer gateway, I can do all these different things. A lot of stuff. I know it's confusing, but don't sweat it. All right, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna delete this user right now because I in my mind, one of you has already copied it and is already spinning up servers. It's fine. I'm surprised, you know, I'm very surprised. You all are kind, or you're still trying to do it right now. Do you have to learn the AWS CLI commands? Yes. If you want to use it, you do. I'm gonna teach you some. You don't need to know them for like the exam or anything like that. I lied. You do need to know them. You need to know some basic ones for the exam. All right, Horizon Test, you're already gone, but I can show you some of those other commands from the console if I need to. But yes, you have to memorize commands. The good thing about the good thing about AWS CLI is that unlike the console, where there's not a lot of consistency between each thing, there's a ton of consistency between the commands in the AWS CLI. So like once you learn how to create a resource or to get information about a resource for one resource, you'll kind of know how to do it for many of them. So that's what's helpful about that. Yeah, that's what's kind of helpful about that. But yeah, it's definitely a learning experience. Like that, like I'm just lightly just touching you on it. We're going to, that's why over time we are going to practice with it, because it's a scary thing to a lot of people, but it's a really good skill to have. It's really valuable to know how to interact somewhat with AWS from the CLI. The other way that you can access programmatically, we talked about this before, is through code. So through specific runtimes, through something called an SDK, software development kit, development kit, I'm pretty sure, and which is a little package that gives you some features and gives you some tools to interact with AWS. These also use your credentials as well. So yeah, CLI equals good, Linux strong, 100%. But it's very, very powerful. Everything that I can do from the console, I can do from the command line. And again, the power in that is that if you can do it from the command line, that means you can do what? That means you can automate it. That means you can script something out to maybe if you want to check to see how many servers you have running every day. Maybe if you have some automatic things going on, you can set up a cron job that reaches out and gets all the information about your server and compiles it and maybe passes you back your IP addresses so you know what IP address to log into. Yes, and I prefer to use tools like Ansible for things like this. Well, Ansible is for the configuration of a system. Not really for this. Ansible doesn't quite take the place of this. Doesn't quite take the place of this, but yeah, Ansible's cool. That's the power of the API or no. Yes, this is what I just did here. So what happened when I did this? This made a GET request to Amazon's API. It made a request to Amazon's API that said, hey, Amazon, here are my credentials. I would like to know please respond with all the information you have about all the EC2 instances and their information that this user has. This was me making a request to the API through the command line. That's exactly what that was. You can also spin out reading the menu page. Yeah, just Google. I mean, yes. So let's be second billing cycle. I actually love that you said that. So let's be clear here. We're going to do things on the command line because it can be beneficial. This does not mean use the command line for everything. Don't struggle. The console is good. The console is a good thing. Don't let anyone ever make you feel like doing like, oh, why are you doing that in the console? Nah, forget that. Trust me, you will do a lot in the console. I do a lot in the console. I do a whole lot in the console. Don't get me wrong. I like the CLI for automation, and getting and gathering information. Because I do have strong command line skills. But again, it's mostly about, it's powerful because of the automation. Do use the console. You will use, like, I've been using AWS for a long time, and I like the console is the first place I go. Like automation, it like you don't always have the opportunity to automate. Like it helps me work for jobs, but when I'm doing things for myself, I do not do, like, I'll get a little bit of information to see if my IP address or something, or like I'll get something little to figure out what key I'm using or something. But the console for just like, the console is a great place. 100%. There's no CLI elitism over here, because you're right. I'm glad you said that, because I kept saying it as like, just to encourage people to not be afraid of it. But there are a lot of console elitists. I've heard people call people console jockeys before. I was like, what does that even mean? Like, where did that come from? So, whatever's faster for you. And also everyone who constantly says, they're doing everything from the CLI, they're lying to you anyway. I don't care what they say. They're lying to you. JSON is relatively, it can be hard to parse, because most of the format that you're going to get back is a lot of JSON. And I mean, if you're a pro at parsing JSON, you can use tools like JQ and stuff. Great, but they're lying to you. People use the console. Everyone uses the console. People who use the GUI are less Sin City, thank you. Yes, you are. Yes, sure. The less competent, absolutely. I love it. Sure. That's we should make shirts like that. Let's see, console cowboy. I like that one. Kinda. Console job. Yeah, it's super. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, that's super weird. Wish I wasn't born in the GUI era. Made us incompetent. Hey, I use them both. I operate. I have a terminal open all day. I do a lot through there. I do a lot through the console or through GUIs. So yeah, that's it. That's it for tonight. That was a lot of information. This will be the worst of it, to be honest. Like the sheer amount of information, just because of all the things we had to get through, like the introductory stuff today. So hopefully a decently fast, tangible takeaways. We want to talk about, like, we want to wrap it up so that you know what you should have taken away from this. So today we learned what the cloud was. Dorian, thank you so much for the gifted subs. That's going to give me even more energy to go through this tangible takeaway. We learned that the cloud is simply a distributed system of networked computing resources being things like CPU, memory, hard drive space, disk space, that you can that people can receive access to on demand. That's a big key feature of the cloud. The service that we're learning is Amazon Web Services, AWS. The reason why we're learning it is because it has the biggest market share of all of the big cloud providers, of all the cloud providers, period. Which means that there are more jobs out there for it, which is super great. There are other great ones as well, like Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform or Linode. So tonight we focused a little bit on about their global infrastructure. So we learned about AWS regions. Regions are those they are the geographical locations where there are clusters of data centers, and there are 24 around the world. So the geographic regions where these data centers live. We learned about availability zones, where there are these redundant pieces of clusters of those data centers in each space that kind of keep all your data good and really good. There are multiple availability zones inside of a region. These availability zones, they're usually 3 in most of them. But yeah, there are multiple availability zones inside of region. Those are 2 very important concepts. I will share resources in the Google Classroom to dive deeper into that if you want to know a little bit more specifics about regions and availability zones. But we'll also learn about edge locations and a little bit about CloudFront. Not a big deal. We also learned about IAM, Identity and Access Management. We learned that that's how you control who who can access your AWS resources or do anything with AWS, how they can do it, and what they can do when they are working with them. We hopped in, we created a user, gave ourselves some roles and policies. We talked about those different policies and permissions that you could give to people, roles being those things that you can attach to different resources that have a collection of policies that control what they can do. We also learned that you can access AWS in a few different ways, through the console or programmatically through the command line using AWS CLI, or through some type of programming language or runtime like using an SDK. There's probably a few more things in there, but that's a quick little tangible takeaways. Like I said, you'll receive some resources to kind of go over in Google Classroom. There'll be a bunch of different stuff there, but we'll be back next week. I know it's a long time in between. We'll be back next week with some cool stuff with EC2. We'll be diving all the way in on EC2. It'll be very hands-on. We'll be spinning up some servers. We'll be hopping into a server. We'll be doing a bunch of cool stuff. You'll learn about web servers and stuff as well. So even though you may not know any Linux, you're going to be able to serve some information over the web. It's going to be pretty dope next week. Also tomorrow is office hours. So if you had any questions that couldn't get answered today, come on through to office hours. We're also going to be doing an introduction to Git session during office hours because of some technical issues that happened at the end of yesterday's stream. So if you want to hop in the beginning for that, feel free to do so. If not, it'll be cut up and it'll be thrown in the Google Classroom as well. So every other Saturday is office hours. The other Saturdays are a series called Build, where we'll actually be doing a guided session to build some type of product. And it could be anything. It could be someone brought up that we might actually build a mail server. There'll be one for some Kubernetes stuff. We got all kinds of different stuff. There are going to be random topics. I'll release them early so that you know if you want to come through and see what those things look like. But yeah, that is everything. Office hours is at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Is that 9 or 9:30? I'm pretty sure it's at 9:30 Eastern time until around, it'll be about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So come on through, ask your questions, and yeah, watching Wednesday and been back every single night. I do appreciate that. I'm super ecstatic about all the people who are coming through and spending some time with me. I hope y'all are learning. That's the only goal here. Feel free to reach out and let me know if there's anything you all are interested in learning in the future. Always, I'm putting together different courses and things right now. If you're interested, we also do run something called excursions, which will be shorter, more focused things. We've done some stuff on Git, Linux specifically, Docker, Kubernetes. These are focused on specific tools and they're shorter. They're usually 2 or 3 weeks, so 4 or 6 sessions. So I'll give you more information about when we're running more of those as well. So yeah. Guys, does IAM work like Azure's Active Directory? Can it sync with your on-prem Active Directory? So that's a phenomenal question, Black Avatar. Then feel free, if there's any more questions, I'm good for a little bit, so I will answer some questions. So yes, there are some integrations you can make there, but Amazon also has, actually I was looking at the wrong computer. Amazon also has an Active Directory offering, I'm pretty sure. 99% sure, maybe I'm tripping, but let me check. I've never had to use it because I don't really work with anyone. Yeah, host and manage Active Directory. They have directory service, so they have a service for specifically that. There are some IAM integrations that you can do with it, but it's not perfect like one-to-one. But yeah. Lumen Vita, thank you so much for the gifted subs. Was that 77? I love it. Thank you so much for the bits and the cheers. Good to have you again, Dorian. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Everyone, please thank everyone. Mr. Griffin, shout out to CM Griffin. If you're trying to learn a little bit more, there are a bunch of great streamers on here who are building cool things and doing cool things pretty often that you might want to hang out with. So Mr. CM Griffin is here, and thank you so much for the gifted sub as well. But yeah. We'll be back tomorrow, but look forward to next week. Absolutely. White Wolf, good to have you. Thanks so much for coming through and hanging out and going through some cool things with us. But yeah, we're a week now. Thank you so much again, Lumen Vita, for the subs. Thank you for getting the hype train going. I appreciate you all. I really, really do. What time tomorrow morning again? Actually, good question. Let me check because I actually don't know. I thought it was 9:30, but someone else said 9, and I should probably check my calendar. And tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So 9:30 a.m. Eastern time is what time we will be hopping on in the morning, hanging out, being great. I appreciate that, Black Avatar. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see. Get Crash Course in his YouTube. Oh yes, I do have the Get Crash Course in my YouTube as well. I might just share that for people. Huh. I forgot I had that. I can share that. I'll check and make sure I can find it. But yeah, I do have that. But if not, we'll still run over that tomorrow as well, because Git is pretty important to know. Is there one more gifter out there? I'm here for the learning. Yeah, I appreciate the love and trying to help me out. You know, I do appreciate it, but you know, I just appreciate spending time with you all. I appreciate you all coming to hang out with me. It's fun. I have a good time doing this. All right, so who we're gonna go say hello to tonight? We gotta raid somebody. It's impossible for me to leave. We didn't do it last night because everything was broken. But is there anybody right now? I usually try to raid somebody from.
Maybe just get some foods. Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Oh wow, Dorian. Yeah.
Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Oh wow, Dorian.
Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Oh wow, Dorian. Appreciate it. I really do.
Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Also, I'm gonna reach out to a couple people who.
I really do. Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Also, I'm gonna reach out to a couple people who.
I really do. Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Also, I'm gonna reach out to a couple people who.
Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Also, I'm gonna reach out to a couple people who.
Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Also, I'm gonna reach out to a couple people who.
Used to Gatorade dinosaur.
Also, oh no, close it. Oh no, close it. Oh no, wait. I don't see. Oh no, wait. Okay, there we go. I fixed it. I think I fixed it. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it at all. So I'm sorry. We got some inception going here. I do appreciate it. Is it fixed? Is it fixed? No. Okay. Wait. I don't know what's happening. Let's see if anybody from Only Devs on. All right. So who are we gonna go see? There's nobody on from Only Devs. Is there anyone on? I'm from. Oh man. Hold on. Let me go back. Science and Tech. Let's go say hello to. Let's raid Linus Tech Tips. Let's no, it was marrying me. I don't know why. No, we're not rating Linus Tech Tips. Yeah, we are. We're rating Linus. Let's rate Linus. You know, he does. This is usually we rate somebody in the Science and Technology channel, but this is gonna be fun. Let's just see what happens. You know, Linus Tech. Everyone, let Linus know we said hello. Maybe he'll say hello to us or something. He won't, but we'll see. I am gonna watch because I do like the Wen show a whole lot. He's pretty dope. But appreciate it, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. If not, I'll see you next week. Go get some rest. Enjoy your weekend. Recharge and get ready to come back strong. Peace out, everybody. See you later.